And today we have Michael Salisbury as the man in the middle. And, well, for Ipswich, it does look bleak for them, doesn't it?
I think you get the feeling here it's almost coming to the point of they have to win every game. You know, speaking to the people in and around the press box, in and around the stadium, the city earlier on today, they're coming here today with it. We need to win today. You know, you look at the bottom of the table. Yes, they're still in touch. There could be a few permutations today. With Wolves at Southampton, that result will obviously play a big factor as well. Southampton only on 9 points, they look done, don't they? Leicester 17, Ipswich 17, and that gap that's just appearing to Wolves. If Wolves do win today, you kind of imagine it might just be slightly bigger gap to amass for Ipswich.
Ipswich Town are the only side in England's top 4 divisions who are yet to win a league game in 2025. Chelsea was their last success on December the 30th, as they will try to rectify that statistic as we are underway. BBC Radio 5 Live this Saturday afternoon. The usual goal service will keep you in touch with the goals as they go in, up and down the country. Nottingham Forest with their supporters in good voice over on that far side, all in red, playing from right to left as we look here in a commentary position right on the halfway line, as the referee is just having to wait for a balloon to be popped by Leif Davis. He tried to stamp on it with his left foot, managed to wriggle away, came back up into the air, and then he decided to pop it with his hands as the throw from Williams on this near side for Forest, and Gibbs-White brings it out of the air and turns and plays it back, and Murillo. Milinkovic will go all the way back then to Matt Sells. 12 clean sheets he's kept in the Premier League this season as he goes long, aimed towards Wood. O'Shea lets the ball bounce, comes out to Hudson-Odoi, links up with Anderson on this near side, back with Gibbs-White. Ipswich have been forced back at the moment as Gibbs-White runs forward, left-hand side of the penalty area. Back it goes to Anderson. Now with Williams. Hudson-Odoi just stands still, comes in now off the left touch line. Philogene has gone with him. Still it remains on this side. Newport County have just taken the lead at home to Harrogate Town in League 2. Ball cut back. Here it's Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi looked to try and get onto his left foot, and Hutchinson managed to get a foot into the challenge, and it will go out for an Ipswich throw.
It's a really good start from Nottingham Forest, and we're watching a Nottingham Forest side today who will probably have more of the ball than they used to. It's interesting watching Nuno Espirito de Santo's side. We've seen this season they have been quite sacrificial in possession. They let the opposition have possession. They very quick on the turnover. They play longer, direct sometimes, but we're actually watching two teams here today who don't normally have the lion's share of possession in their games.
They've lost their last 3 away from home in the Premier League: Bournemouth, Fulham and Newcastle. More than they've actually lost in the previous 13 when they've been on the road, as the ball is at the feet of the Ipswich Town goalkeeper Alex Palmer away towards our left-hand side. He just strokes it forward. Dark-haired figure of Jacob Greaves is on the ball. Huddersfield Town are leading Crawley Town by 1-0 in League 1, and Carlisle United, who are bottom of the Football League, they're 6 adrift of safety, have fallen behind to AFC Wimbledon. Ipswich are forward, and the cross coming in on that far side by Leif Davis. The ball might have just gone out of play on that far side, but the referee says not. Ipswich play the ball back into the centre circle. We're going to go to Swansea. Molly Stevens.
Oh, easy work for Burnley, Ian, on the counter-attack. Swansea 0, Burnley 1. Josh Brownhill, their captain, with his 13th of the season. It's Swansea 0, Burnley 1.
They're third in the table. They're 2 points off Sheffield United. Leeds United earlier came from 2-0 down to get a point against Queen's Park Rangers, so they are 3 clear now of Sheffield United. 0-0 here in the early stages. We've been playing for just over 3 minutes, and Ipswich Town have been awarded a free kick, a direct free kick, just outside the penalty area.
Yeah, there's really good work on this right-hand side from Amari Hutchinson. Cuts in, causes Nico Williams a problem, catches him, referee's right on the spot, and as you say, it's a free kick just off the angle, 2 or 3 yards outside the box. Real opportunity for Ipswich early on.
Stiff breeze, those red shirts are rippling in the Forest penalty area. They've got 4 in the wall. We'll be getting news of a try in the rugby in a moment, but Hutchinson is eyeing this one up. The other player who is there is Julio Enciso. It'll either be the right foot of Enciso or the left foot of Hutchinson. So it is right of centre, less than 25 yards out from goal. It is Hutchinson, hits the wall, comes back to Hutchinson, and Forest keep their line on the edge of the penalty area. So James Burridge, that try.
Half-time, 12 points to 10, Ireland lead. Driven over with about 12 players all committing to it. Conversion was missed, and Italy clumsy, with Vincent being given 10 minutes in the slip-in for a deliberate knock-on. 12-10 at half-time, Ireland lead.
Thank you, James. Sports Extra for commentary of that, and as soon as we're finished here, that must-win game for England in Cardiff. We'll hear it on BBC Radio 5 Live, but you know the drill now. When we flip-flop between the football and the rugby union, it will start initially on Sports Extra. The referee's played an advantage. Dominguez out towards Hudson-Odoi, runs forward and runs at pace as Dara O'Shea, the right back for Ipswich Town, backpedals to the edge of his penalty area. Williams now takes over, and it is now with Anderson. A goal at Ewood Park. Betty Glover.
Blackburn 0, Cardiff 1. Good start for Cardiff. Yusuf Selek with a diving header. Keeper couldn't get his finger straight. Blackburn defence 1 to wait. Blackburn 0, Cardiff 1.
Thank you, Betty. Phillips will clear it for Ipswich. He goes long. Murillo leaves it for Milinkovic to come across and head it out of play. They went long towards Delap. Both sides are keen to go long today.
He's a real handful, Liam Delap, isn't he? He's a pest. He's worked extremely hard leading that front line for Ipswich this season. 10 goals already to his name in a side that are struggling in the bottom three. You would think that if Ipswich do end up in the Championship, there's bigger, better things in the Premiership ahead for him. He really does work hard. He's a pest for defenders, and he'll certainly occupy the two centre-halves of Nottingham Forest this afternoon.
That's the voice of Paul Robinson on BBC Radio 5 Live as we welcome listeners to the BBC World Service wherever you are in the world. It is a pleasure to have your company here on this Saturday afternoon in the Premier League, where it's 0-0 in these early stages. 6 minutes played and the ball is at the back, and it's with Wolfenden, who stops, runs forward at a gentle speed into the centre circle and then goes short and square to his right for O'Shea. Hutchinson on the halfway line now picks it up. Anderson is forcing Ipswich to go back, and now in the penalty area, Kajusta, the Swedish midfielder, on loan from Napoli, and Ipswich seeing a lot of the ball. Greaves with Wolfenden once again as Forest drop off at this stage. Philogene is out on this near side in a lot of space, but they can't work it out to him. The move breaks down, and then it's a quick ball towards Elanga. Out to the left he finds Hudson-Odoi. Elanga darts ahead of him, left-hand side of the penalty area. Wolfenden comes across with Elanga. Hudson-Odoi in field, finds Anderson outside the area, enters the box now as Anderson, turns with his back to goal, complains that couldn't find Wood. Hudson-Odoi looks for Wood, and it's cleared out of play for a throw.
They're brilliant to watch, Nottingham Forest, from a tactical point of view. From our elevated position here in the main stand, looking down, when they do concede possession, they get back in that defensive shape so quickly, and regardless of who they're playing, they're quite happy to let the opposition have possession. But on transition, on turnover, they are so quick. The pace that they've got with Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White linking it up, from back to front, they're the quickest team in the Premier League.
Well, it looks a near certainty, doesn't it, that England will get one of those extra places for the Champions League. So you're looking at top 5 now for Champions League football for next season. And what a remarkable job, the transformation. You think this time last season they were in Ipswich's plight, they were fighting for Premier League survival, and yet he's transformed them now to European contenders as Gibbs-White treads the ball through towards Elanga, and it runs out of play for a goal kick to Ipswich Town, and it remains 0-0 as we'll get an update from Manchester City with Chris Coles.
Your timing exemplary, Ian, because Manchester City have just been awarded a penalty. Omar Marmoush cutting in onto his left foot, reckless slide challenge, clearly clips Marmoush. Referee points to the penalty spot. 0-0 with Brighton, but Manchester City penalty incoming.
And we'll be back with you for that, Chris. Huddersfield Town have increased their lead. They now 2-0 up at home to Crawley Town. Everton 0, West Ham United 0. Southampton and Wolves is goalless at St Mary's. Wolfenden to Dara O'Shea, back then to his goalkeeper, away towards our left, and standing in front of that two-tiered Sir Bobby Robson stand as Palmer passes the ball to Greaves. Leif Davis waits midway through his own half. Forward ball. This is Kajusta. Just touches it now to Phillips, but not really going anywhere, Ipswich.
No, they're having a lot of possession, but as you say, it's possession without purpose, rotating the ball backwards, forwards, sideways. But with Liam Delap, a very lonely figure, they're going to have to get the wide players up in support of him.
Kuyusta turns. We'll be back very soon at Manchester City for that penalty with Chris Coles to the home team there. As the home team here come forward, and then Aina just dinks the ball out of play, the Nottingham Forest right back. So Chris Coles, penalty.
Erling Haaland stands over it. Bart Verbruggen in the Brighton goal, not quite on his line, doing his best to put off the Manchester City striker. VAR had a quick look at the penalty. Was definitely a penalty. Webster very late on Marmoush. Haaland waits. Simon Hooper, the referee, whistle to his lips, and Haaland takes a couple of composed steps backwards on his left foot, stares at the ball, steps up and scores. Bottom left-hand corner. Terrific penalty that gives Manchester City a 1-0 lead over Brighton.
The goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app, and we're live on the World Service, where Morecambe are leading Barrow by 1-0 in League Two, and there is a goal at Home Park in the Championship. Hamish Marshall.
It's a vital 6-pointer, and the goal has gone to Derby County. They lead by 1-0. Throw on the right-hand side. Good turn from Marcus Harness, and he was able to knock it low into the net. Plymouth Argyle 0, Derby 1.
That's Plymouth, who are bottom. Derby County third from bottom before today's games. Ipswich Town in the relegation zone in the Premier League have a corner kick. Davis to take it. He goes very, very deep. Wolfenden climbs early, and his header drops over the top for a goal kick. Paul.
Yeah, they've looked decent when they go forward, Ipswich. They rely heavily on Leif Davis down the left-hand side, left back, kind of left wing back when they're in possession. Pushes on. He's only got a couple of assists, 5 assists, I think, in the Premier League this season. His record in the Championship from that left-hand side was incredible.
Charlton Athletic are leading at home to Wigan Athletic at the Valley. They're going really, really well in Nathan Jones' side. They've only lost 1 in their last 12. Mansfield Town are 1-0 up against Barnsley at Field Mill. Mansfield without a win in 13, but Nigel Clough's side have taken the lead. That is also in League One. It's goalless here at Portman Road, as we will go to John Southall at St Mary's.
Well, we've played 11 minutes. Southampton 0, Wolves 0. Southampton have been the better side so far. Across from the right-hand side, Sulemana almost on the end of it. Southampton 0, Wolves 0.
Gibbs White has dispossessed Hutchinson, and he launches another attack now for Nottingham Forest as Hudson-Odoi jogs forward. Then Williams joins the attack. Back to Hudson-Odoi. Elanga has also stayed out on this near side, the Forest left. It's Elanga's cross over the head of Wood. Davis's header drops to Aina. Went for the volley outside the penalty area, right-footed. Sliced it, goal kick.
Again, another example of Nottingham Forest. As soon as they turn over possession, the first thought is forward, whether it's the pass forward, whether it's a run forward. Morgan Gibbs-White anchored in that midfield role. He knows he's got Elanga, he knows he's got Hudson-Odoi, and the pace that they've got caused teams so much problems.
Everton West Ham, Lee Blakeman.
Big chance for West Ham. It's still 0-0, but Jordan Pickford's just made a brilliant save. West Ham corner came off the head of Jared Branthwaite, and great reflexes from Pickford flying to his left to keep it out and keep it at Everton 0, West Ham 0.
Got to say, it was great to catch up with Terry Butcher ahead of the game. Haven't been here for many a year to Portman Road, but Terry will be watching. He'll be sat next to Russell Osman, as he often does, and Russell Osman, who was one of 6 Ipswich players who starred in the film Escape to Victory. Kevin Beattie, I didn't realise, was stand-in for Michael Caine, and he actually beat Sylvester Stallone at an arm wrestling contest. That was Tony Livesey's floodlit facts of the day. Tony Livesey, every weekday night, 10:30 on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Doesn't he look great, Terry Butcher? He looks absolutely sin. I mean, it's very hard to get starstruck when you've worked in football for so long, but for my era growing up, and that image of Terry Butcher with the bloodstained headband, and, you know, his England career, he walked into the press box and I was like, wow, there's an England legend. It was football royalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you're right. That's exactly that term I used to describe him earlier on. It looked really, really well. Good to see him. And BBC Radio 5 Live has had many a good trip with Terry down the years, as Aina for Nottingham Forest passes the ball forward. Anderson links up with Dominguez, and then Anderson gives the ball away straight towards Delap. Delap enters the penalty area. Enciso entered the box. Aina made the challenge, and the referee has a look at it. They were looking for a corner kick of Ipswich Town. Just a little bit sloppy there by Anderson.
Yeah, give away possession about 15 yards outside of his box. Liam Delap's first thought was goal. Gets himself into the penalty box, he loses possession, but it comes out to Enciso. Aina comes across and he times his tackle to perfection, makes a really good block tackle, but Forest, slightly sloppy in possession.
So Davis jogging across to this near side in front of that two-tiered Sir Alf Ramsey stand away towards our right-hand side. And down by the tunnel area in the corner here at Portman Road, Davies places the ball down and then rolls it to Hutchinson, unmarked, edge of the area, shoots left-footed, just over the top, had a bit of curl on it, but Sells quite happy to see that ball go over his crossbar.
It's a really good opportunity for Amari Hutchinson. Nottingham Forest switched off, it was a short corner, lovely ball by Leif Davis just outside the penalty box. Hutchinson has a touch, gets himself in the penalty box, and on his left foot you fancy him to at least hit the target. He hits it over Matt Sells' goal without the power that he would have wanted. That's an opportunity for Ipswich.
Incidentally, I mentioned Wales-England in the rugby, which will start on Sports Extra. Then as soon as we're done here, we'll get it with Chris Jones and the team on BBC Radio 5 Live, and then that will be followed Bournemouth-Brentford. That will start on Sports Extra, then that will switch to 5 Live. But all in time, back to the rugby at 8 o'clock for France against Scotland. So live sport all the way this Saturday on BBC Radio 5 Live. But 15 minutes played, 0-0. And the better chances have probably fallen to the home team. It's
been fairly even, you would say. I think possession-wise, opportunities-wise, but the better chances, the more clear-cut chances, obviously, have fallen to the Ipswich team. Amari Hutchinson had the best of them there. Liam Delap had half an opportunity. He's such an active player, Liam Delap. He's always a threat.
Liam Delap with 10 goals. I think you're right, Paul, regardless what happens with Ipswich Town. If they do get relegated, I think we'll still see him in the Premier League, because clubs will come calling for him as Dominguez dispossesses Cayusta, but then couldn't keep the ball in play, and it will be an Ipswich throw over on that far side. And then they go back to Greaves to Phillips on loan from Manchester City. O'Shea, the right back, quickly closed down by Hudson-Odoi. Hutchinson tries to turn away from Anderson and then skips on the inside of Gibbs-White as he runs forward and passes the ball with purpose, and Davis has stayed forward on that left-hand side, and Cecil though gives it away. Another goal at Ewood Park, Betty Glover.
Blackburn 1, Cardiff 1. Blackburn have been doing a decent job of breaking down Cardiff, and finally Yuki Ohashi was there. The ball was swung in, really good ball, just inside the box. Ohashi was there at the near post, header into the bottom left. Blackburn 1, Cardiff 1.
Huddersfield have just rattled in a third. Huddersfield Town 3, Crawley Town 0, and Newport County 2, Harrogate Town 0 is the latest score in League 2. There's been a goal at Sixfields. Ben Mundy.
There has. Northampton 1, Birmingham 0. Add this to the DVD titled "When Playing Out from the Back Goes Badly Wrong." Birmingham own goal after a pass back to the keeper evaded him. Iwata with the unfortunate touch. Northampton 1, Birmingham 0.
The results earlier on from the games in the Football League: Millwall 1, Stoke City 0, Queen's Park Rangers 2, Leeds United 2. The two results in League 1: Bolton Wanderers 0, Stockport County 1. So Stockport moved within 3 points of Wycombe and Wrexham, who are playing each other today. Cambridge 0, Peterborough 1, and the two results in League 2: Crewe 1, Doncaster 1, and Swindon Town 3, Cheltenham 3. Back to John Southall.
Southampton 0, Wolves 0. First chance of the game for Southampton. Joe Rebo 14 yards out, smashed it over the bar, but Ian, the Ipswich fans, I think, will be heartened by the start Southampton have made. Southampton 0, Wolves 0.
Yes, it's a key game down at the bottom with Ipswich 6 points behind Wolves, who are outside the relegation zone. 0-0 here. In fact, the only goal in the Premier League of the 3 o'clock games is that Manchester City penalty from Haaland as they lead Brighton by a goal to 0. Paul.
Yeah, you look at this game now, and there's two teams who can't really afford to lose this game for different reasons. Obviously, Ipswich fights at the bottom of the table, but Nottingham Forest, I mean, it's an incredible position for Nottingham Forest to be in. Third place, 2 points ahead of Chelsea at this stage of the season, and as you said, with that potential of the 5th place of the Champions League, I think a lot of them, listen, myself included, I'll admit, I didn't have them anywhere other than fighting relegation again this season. The job that Nuno's done has been nothing short of astounding.
It is. They've got a 5-point buffer as well for Champions League football too, of Nottingham Forest, with 10 games remaining. Mentioned Nuno Espirito Santo, it's actually his 50th league game in charge of Forest. He's won 21 of his 49. Only Brian Clough and Frank Clark have won more in the Premier League. As Ilanga picks it up on that far side, bit of area to run into for Forest. Gibbs-White wants the ball and gets it on the stretch, gives it back towards Ilanga, gets onto it with his pace. He was a little slow to start, and in the end he had no right to get there, but he did, and Forest have won a corner kick, 0-0. Yeah,
good interaction with Gibbs-White and Ilanga down the right hand side. A nice 1-2, using the pace again in the wide areas. He's always a threat to Lange when he gets on the ball. You look at his assists this season, he's got 9 for Nottingham Forest already this season, and you can see why.
He had that burst of 3 goals in 3 games in December after ending a drought of 30 without. He's actually now gone 12 games without a goal, as he will take the corner kick on the far side, the right, for Forest. In it goes, headed out by Phillips, drops to Williams, hits it first time on the edge of the area. Ipswich get the ball away, iron it to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi chips the ball in towards the far post, and Dominguez on the run, leaping, just tried to touch it right-footed. Milinkovic had actually stayed forward. It was scooped up by the goalkeeper Palmer. A goal at Southampton. John Southall.
Southampton 0, Wolves 1. Wolves with their first chance on target. Cross from the right hand side, and you have to say, where on earth was the marking? Jürgen Strand-Larsen, unmarked, headed into the bottom left hand corner. Southampton 0, Wolves 1.
Well, that is not good news at all for, well, any of the 3 promoted sides from last season, but certainly for Ipswich, who are the closest team to Wolves, as they're drawing 0-0 here against Nottingham Forest. You thinking Dominguez should have headed that?
They should be one down, Ipswich. It's a great chance that for Nicholas Dominguez. It's a wonderful ball in by Callum Hudson-Odoi, drifted to the far post, floated with a perfect pace on it, and he goes with his right leg. All he needed to do was head it. Not saying he would have scored, but it was a much better opportunity.
Ipswich have given the ball away in the midfield quite a lot already, and we've been playing for 20 minutes. Certainly the desire levels of Nottingham Forest to win the ball back are very, very high. Another goal at Manchester City, Chris Coles.
Equaliser for Brighton, a sumptuous free kick from Purvis Estepinian from 30 yards out on his left foot. Ortega didn't move as he watched it hit his post and into the net. Manchester City 1, Brighton 1.
Everton West Ham remains 0-0 at Goodison Park. Here is Murillo on the halfway line. Forward to Gibbs-White. Hudson-Odoi now almost level with the penalty area. Back then to Gibbs-White once again, and they continue to exchange passes, the two of them, as Murillo now will come forward for Forest. Wood gets a little touch, a little bit off balance, but guides it out towards that right-hand side. A goal at Coventry, Tom Gale.
Frank Lampard's side's first attempt on target. Coventry 1, Sunderland 0. It's a screamer from 30 yards. Haji Wright picks up the ball, dribbles, has one eye on the bottom corner. Coventry 1, Sunderland 0.
Back to Swansea and Molly Stevens.
Swansea 0, Burnley 2. Well, this looks all far too easy for the visitors. A flurry of chances in front of goal. Jayden Anthony eventually finds the back of the net. Burnley 2-0 up and are second in the live table.
Yes, they are. The Sheffield derby tomorrow is where Sheffield United will be next in action after earlier Leeds United drew 2-2 at Queen's Park Rangers. So Burnley, as it currently stands, they go a point clear of Sheffield United, as Molly quite rightly says, and they are 2 points behind Leeds United with that 2-0 lead in South Wales. 0-0 here at Portman Road. BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service, and Ciso passes the ball back.
Top of that championship is not quite as clear cut as the Premier League, is it? When you look at the top of that championship, looking like Liverpool are home and hosed really with the Premier League relegation places. Maybe there's one up for grabs, but the top of the championship is going to be a real battle between now and the end of the season as to who wins it and who gets out of that league.
Yeah, certainly Burnley putting pressure on the top two, and you would think on the way to another 3 points today with that 2-0 scoreline. And Ciso finds Phillips midway through the Forest half, infield. Delap off balance, just tried to help it on its way towards Philogene. Can't really get into the game, Philogene, can he?
No, he's been struggling. He's not had the possession. Ipswich, as I say, they've had the possession, but it's been in deeper line areas in the defensive third, ball into midfield, and they've kept possession rather than doing anything with it.
Elanga runs forward on the left-hand side, stumbles, and then runs the ball behind, and it goes out for a goal kick to Ipswich Town.
You know another reason why Philogene's struggling to get in the game as well. You look at this left-hand side for Nottingham Forest, you look at Nico Williams, Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's got defensive responsibilities as well. Both Philogene and Amari Hutchinson in the wide areas. They've been given the responsibility of looking after Nottingham Forest wide players, which is one of their biggest threats that they have in the team.
We're watching today the all-red of Nottingham Forest. Tomorrow we'll be watching the all-red of Liverpool in the League Cup final. 5 Live Sport coming from Wembley tomorrow at midday. We'll have Arsenal against Chelsea before the League Cup final. That's a 1:30 kick-off at the Emirates. Fulham against Spurs will be on Sports Extra. And then after the League Cup final, Leicester City against Manchester United from 7 is another commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live.
What a 2 days we've got, haven't we? We've got looking forward to the journey home tonight, but then all that again tomorrow. Excellent news.
Yeah, 5 Live, the home of live sport. Been an excellent 4 days coverage from the team at the Cheltenham Festival over the last 4 days. No other goals elsewhere as it remains 0-0 here. Up towards Wood. Greaves though holds him off, clears it long. That's a nice little touch as it dropped out of the air by Gibbs-White. Anderson though is dispossessed. Here is Delap, but Gibbs-White again. That hunger to win the ball back, and Delap wasn't expecting Gibbs-White to recover it so quickly as Anderson passes the ball forward, and Hudson-Odoi now runs into the penalty area off the left touchline down towards the byline, and it crosses the ball. It actually beats the keeper in his near post, runs across the face of goal, and all it needed was a touch.
He's committed a real error there, the goalkeeper.
That's a head injury. There'll be a stoppage in play. Anderson, actually, to his credit, is back to his feet very, very quickly, as is Philogene, who had to cover. Both of them, I thought, might have stayed down a little longer. Hudson-Odoi, though, attacking for Nottingham Forest. Come on, you Reds, is the cry from the strong travelling support. 3,000 of them over on that far side. 0-0, 25 minutes played.
Alex Palmer, the goalkeeper there. Callum Hudson-Odoi does brilliantly well. He gets to the byline. Alex Palmer presumes that he's going to cross the ball, and he dives across his 6-yard box, preempting the cross, trying to cut the cross out. The cross never came. Whether Callum Hudson-Odoi meant it or not, it went inside the goalkeeper's dive and almost across the goal line.
Motherwell 0, St Mirren 1 is a latest scoreline, and we're going to go to Home Park. Hamish Marshall.
Where Derby have doubled their lead against Plymouth Argyle. Harrison Armstrong on loan from Everton, on the end of a failure from Plymouth to clear another throw-in, edge of the penalty area. Good finish. Plymouth 0, Derby 2.
Well, that is some score for Derby County in their hopes to stay in the Championship. If anybody would have gambled, they'd have just had a tap-in for Forest.
And that opportunity there for Hudson-Odoi. I think, listen, if he'd have known, if he'd have looked up, he got to the byline and he just put the ball into an area, but the goalkeeper was presuming he was going to cut it back. He maybe didn't hit it as well as he could. That ball went inside the goalkeeper's studs and across the goal line. It was an error of judgment by the goalkeeper. You can't just presume that somebody's going to put it across the 6-yard box from there. Left the goal wide open and nearly got caught out.
That's the voice of Paul Robinson, the former England international goalkeeper. Earlier, Molly referenced the live league table when she was talking about Burnley going second. Derby, as it currently stands, are out of the relegation zone. Cardiff, drawing 1-1 at Ewood Park, have dropped into the bottom three. And Anderson in the midfield, helped out by Williams. Murillo, though, can't get there. Delap now will charge forward, touches it towards Hutchinson. Running forward now, right-hand side of the area, stops. Philogene enters the box, back towards Hutchinson, sold him short and allowed Elliot Anderson to nip in, and that will go out of play for a goal kick to Nottingham Forest.
They work so hard as a team, the Nottingham Forest. The ball retention hasn't been great. They've lost possession a couple of times in really key areas, but the way that they work and get back in positions, that time it was Murillo, Morgan Gibbs-White, they work so hard to retain possession as a team and a unit.
Penalty at Coventry City, Tom Gale.
Coventry 1, Sunderland 0. Haji Wright stepping up with a chance to score his second of the afternoon. It was the American who was brought down just inside the edge of the box. The referee's whistle has been blown. He's going to take his time. He is yet to move off the 18-yard line. Slow run up to the side. Haji Wright, right-footed, straight down the middle. Coventry 2, Sunderland 0.
Kilmarnock 0, Hibs 1 is the latest scoreline in the Scottish Premiership at Rugby Park. There is a stoppage in play here. Calvin Phillips is getting treatment, Paul.
Yeah, he's just got caught in an earlier challenge. Looks like somebody's gone over the top of his boot. Having a look on the monitor now, his laces have been ripped. He's just patching up his sock. There looks to be a bit of blood coming from the top of Calvin Phillips' foot. The one for the team doctor and the kit man at the same time, I think, this one.
So he's off the field of play. They're down to 10 men temporarily. Southampton 0, Wolves 1, Manchester City 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. What's the latest at Goodison, Lee Bateman?
Still very much 0-0 here, but chances at both ends. For West Ham, Bowen's just put in a shot from the edge of the area, brilliantly tipped over by Jordan Pickford, and down the other end, Everton have gone close via Alcaraz and Beto headers. Still Everton 0, West Ham 0 though.
Blackpool 0, Leyton Orient 1 is the latest score in League One. As we'll say good afternoon to Pat Murphy.
It's 0-0 here at the Hawthorns. Hull giving as good as they get. They're not lying in the bunker, but the other end, lovely flowing move. Armstrong low cross. Grant just short of the vital touch. That's the closest so far. It's a good game to watch though. West Brom 0, Hull 0.
Thanks, Pat. Huddersfield Town 4, Crawley 0, as Murillo's forward ball will be dealt with by Wolfenden, or will it? As he then almost showed it to Elanga. O'Shea will clear for Ipswich Town. Hutchinson turns again. Gibbs White eager to get a foot into the challenge, and the ball goes out for a Forest throw. Morecambe are down to 10 men. Max Taylor has been sent off in League Two as they are leading Barrow by a goal to nil. Morecambe, who are currently in the relegation zone in League Two, but that could prove to be costly as they have that slender lead, but down to 10 before the half hour. Here is Gibbs White, the Forest number 10 on the far side. We've been playing for nearly half an hour here at Portman Road in the sunshine.
And it's been fairly even as well. I think Nottingham Forest have had the more possession with purpose, if you like. Two of the best opportunities for Ipswich. Nothing of a huge note for either goalkeeper really to do of note in the first half. Opportunity where Alex Palmer decided to dive off his goal line, left it open for Callum Hudson-Odoi. Other than that, no goalkeeper's had a save to make really.
No. The Hutchinson effort that went over the crossbar was probably the closest that we've had to a goal so far. Is Hudson-Odoi to Dominguez. He's left of the centre circle. You hear that wind picking up on the effects mic here, and then to Elanga. Elanga skips away from one challenge as Davis went to ground. Now it's with Williams. Along the ground he finds Hudson-Odoi with that ball to Hudson-Odoi, who looks to go on the outside of Philogene, and he's overrun it, and it will go out for a goal kick to Ipswich.
You're talking about that wind, it's cold, isn't it? If you were getting out of a car with a friend today, would you advise him to leave his gloves in the car because he wouldn't need them today, do you think?
In fairness to me, the sun was shining at that point. As we will quickly move on, and we'll go to Sohail Sahi at Wycombe.
30 minutes played here. Wycombe 0, Wrexham 0. Wrexham have been better, Wycombe sharper, and denied twice by the Wrexham goalkeeper. Wycombe 0, Wrexham 0.
I actually wish that I'd nicked the gloves for myself.
It's cold, isn't it?
Lincoln 1, Bristol Rovers 0. James Burridge watching Italy-Ireland.
A third try for Ireland, a second for Dan Sheehan. They lead by 17 points to 10. Italy, though, still with a man down, with Lamaro in the sin bin. Remember, if Ireland to have any chance of winning the title, they need one more score to get the bonus point. It's 17-10 so far to Ireland.
Commentary of that is on Sports Extra. Wales-England, which gets underway at 4:45, will start on Sports Extra, and then we will have it here as soon as the full-time whistle sounds at Portman Road, where it remains 0-0. Hudson-Odoi shifts the ball short, infield to Gibbs White. Phillips putting him under pressure, breathing down his neck. Gibbs White, though, turns, passes the ball back out to the left, takes a deflection off the chest of Philogene. Ipswich now with Philogene deep inside his own half, held up by Anderson, fouled by Anderson, free kick to the home team.
It's getting very broken up in patches, lots of free kicks, lots of stoppages in the game, and I don't think that's helping either team really. Spoke about Nottingham Forest not having the most possession in games. I think when Ipswich have got it, they're not used to having it either, and they're struggling as well. We've seen a lot of this game played in the middle of the park.
Mention the League Cup final live on BBC Radio 5 Live tomorrow. In the Women's League Cup final earlier, Chelsea beat Manchester City by 2-1. Manchester City, Brighton, Chris Coles.
Manchester City should be in front, still 1-1 with Brighton, but Savinho's missed a glorious chance. Lovely give and go with Marmouche. Savinho clean through, opens up his body, miles wide. Still Manchester City 1, Brighton 1.
Aina runs forward in the sunshine on that Forest right-hand side, playing from right to left. Elanga, short diagonal ball, and then back with Dominguez, just inside the Ipswich town half. Gibbs White, he's certainly getting around this afternoon. He pops up on the right this time. Forest keep the ball. Ipswich, with the exception of Delap, have got everybody back behind it. Gibbs White fires it across. Wood gets on the end of it, initially spilled by Alex Palmer, the Ipswich goalkeeper, and then that forces Palmer to pick the ball up because still lurking was Wood.
Well, this system just fits Morgan Gibbs White perfectly. You said he's allowed to roam. He's allowed to roam from the left to the right. That time finds himself right over on that far right-hand touchline, and it's really deep and it's a long way out, and there's not a lot of teams that would put crosses in from that area. But Morgan Gibbs White's first thought, looks up, where's Chris Wood? Whips a lovely ball into the penalty box, and Chris Wood gets his head on it.
Italy-Ireland in the Six Nations, James Burridge.
And the home side just making things incredibly difficult. No sooner have they had Lamaro come back on, Vincent's just clashed heads with an Irish player. He's gone into the bunker. 17-10 to Ireland, but Italy with another player in the bin.
Commentary on Sports Extra. Palmer actually comes out of his penalty area on that far side, the left, goes to clear the ball, and it actually strikes Kajusta, and goes behind for a corner kick to Forest.
Real miscommunication there between Caducer and his goalkeeper Alex Palmer. The goalkeeper's in control of that situation. The midfielder just needs to step out the way, step aside and let the goalkeeper deal with it. He's the one that can see down the pitch, he can see everything in front of him. He's made the decision to venture that far out of his box. Caducer has to step out the way and allow him to do that. He doesn't, goalkeeper kicks it, hits his own player, and now Nottingham Forest have got a corner.
And Ipswich Town have got every royal blue shirt inside their own penalty area as the corner kick on that far side, the right. Looks like this might be an outswinger from Ilanga, and indeed it is. Greaves heads it, drops to the edge of the area. Hudson-Odoi plays the ball to Dominguez, unmarked, his header back into the area. Milinkovic scores. Ipswich never dealt with the danger, and Nottingham Forest get the breakthrough goal 10 minutes before half-time. Right-footed, rifled it into the back of the net. Milinkovic popping up with the all-important first goal. It's Ipswich Town 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
That's brilliant feat from the central defender in the opposition's box, in the penalty box. As you said, Ipswich didn't deal with the corner. The ball came back into the box and it was Liam Delap at the near post. He's going backwards and he can't get a clean header on it. Ball falls to the feet of Milinkovic. He's still got a load to do. He opts to have a touch. He's got the time and space in the penalty box to have a first touch, and then he lashes it with his right foot past Alex Palmer, who's got no chance. It's a hopeful ball lifted back in by Hudson-Odoi to the far post. Dominguez heads it in back across the 18-yard box first time. The lap can't get a good contact on it. Milinkovic's first touch is excellent. His second is an absolutely brilliant finish. 1-0 to Forest, and that's a lovely finish from Milinkovic, really is.
How much space did Dominguez have inside that penalty area?
Nearly as much as Milinkovic, who was able to take a touch and lash it home from 7 yards. Dominguez had acres of space at the far side, came in round the back, nobody picked him up. But the fact that Milinkovic had the opportunity to take a touch 7 yards from goal, then allow the ball to bounce, and then strike a beautiful half volley with such pace past Alex Palmer.
He's really been an excellent buy. £12 million from Fiorentina, the Serbian international. He's just scored his 4th goal of the season, and Nottingham Forest are ahead 10 minutes before the break. Motherwell 0, St Mirren 2 is a latest score in the Scottish Premiership. But when you think that Forest, you know, the amount of clean sheets that they've kept in the Premier League this season, they've got know-how, haven't they?
When you look at the pair of them, you look at Murillo and Milinkovic, they're imposing as it is. Murillo's a player that I really do enjoy watching. I think he's just movements, his pitch awareness, his reading of the game, and now he's got the partner Milinkovic, the pair of them. You spoke about the goalkeeper's clean sheets. They're as much, you know, to be credited with that as the goalkeeper.
Well, 12 so far. It's the best since Mark Crossley kept 13 in 94-95 as Ilanga, running at pace, enters the penalty area. Quality goal by Ilanga. What a tidy finish. Low into the bottom left-hand corner. And in a matter of minutes, Nottingham Forest now lead Ipswich Town by 2 goals to 0. They're moving to within a point of Arsenal, second.
And a better goal this weekend you will not see. Ilanga down the right-hand side, he's got all the time, he's got all the space. Jacob Greaves just keeps backing off, and Ilanga goes, OK, I'll keep going. Gets himself into the penalty box. When he's in the penalty box, nobody can touch him. On his left foot, opens up, kills a lovely shot, low, Alex Palmer's bottom right-hand corner. It's an excellent finish by Anthony Ilanga.
And his first goal in 13 as Forest lead by 2 goals to 0. To Plymouth, another goal, Hamish Marshall.
And it's hope for Plymouth. Plymouth 1, Derby 2. Mustafa Bundu, a free kick from the left edge of the penalty area, right-footed into the top right-hand corner. Plymouth back in this. Plymouth 1, Derby 2.
The goals are flying in on 5 Live. Manchester City, Chris Coles.
Manchester City 2, Brighton 1, Omar Marmoush with it, and this is a really fine strike from the edge of the penalty area, breaks to him nicely, takes aim, foot through it, Verbruggen didn't move. Manchester City 2, Brighton 1.
At Fir Park, Motherwell have got a goal back. Motherwell 1, St Mirren 2. BBC Radio 5 Live with 7.5 minutes to go to half-time. And the noise is coming from that far side where 3,000 travelling Nottingham Forest supporters are in fine voice, and they're seeing their side on their way to another victory, it would seem, leading now by 2 goals to 0. Lovely goal by Ilanga.
He's so frustrated down beneath as Kieran McKenna prowling up and down his technical area with his hands in his pocket. Jacob Greaves, his centre half, he just allowed Anthony Ilanga to run at him. He's picked up the ball just inside the Ipswich Town half, and he's just ran. He's not done anything special, Ilanga, in his initial run. He's ran at the defender, he just kept backing off, but but then when he gets into the penalty box, he knows he can't be touched. He's got the time, he's got the space, and he conjures up the most beautiful finish.
Charlton Athletic 2, Wigan Athletic 0 is the latest score in League One. But for Ipswich Town and their home record, they've won 1, they've drawn 4, they've lost 9 so far. Only 7 points that they've picked up here at Portman Road. Only Southampton actually have fewer points at home. It's another afternoon where they're struggling.
Well, if you look at the league table now, you see that live league table. If Wolves get a win today at Southampton, and you look where Ipswich are without a win today, that gap looks big, doesn't it? It looks big.
Yeah. Well, it would be 9 points with 9 games to go. Only twice in the history of the Premier League have all 3 promoted sides gone straight back down. 1998, Bolton, Palace and Barnsley. Last season, Luton, Burnley and Sheffield United, but it could be happening back-to-back seasons in the top flight. But yeah, 9 points would be the difference.
Yeah, to be a big hole, that, and it's a really big win if Wolverhampton Wanderers keep that at Southampton today. I mean, you look at West Ham and Manchester United on 34 points, you would think that's them as good as done, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And it's one place between 2 of them to go.
Southampton 0, Wolves 1 is still the scoreline at St Mary's. Manchester City lead Brighton by 2-1. Everton West Ham is also goalless. Here is Greaves on that far side. Forward to Leif Davis, being tracked by Aina. And then Phillips turns. Nuno Espirito Santo is desperate to get those players back as Wolfenden comes forward, and Ciso drops off to collect the ball, skips on one challenge from Dominguez, takes it away from Anderson, who dangles his leg. But there is Hudson-Odoi running back. You know, this is a team that works so hard. It's so evident the effort that they do off the ball, Forrest.
You can see how coached they are, how well coached they are on the training ground, and he's got the balance of players within this squad to play this system. He gets the best out of every individual on the pitch by playing this system. You can see when they're without the ball, they don't panic, they're quite comfortable, they know what they're doing, each one knows what their job is. But when the turnover of possession does happen, they spring. You know, they spring wide, they make space, and they know exactly what they're doing and where their teammate's going to be. They're a good watch.
Here is Ilanga, he could be in again here. Ilanga, and he is! Ilanga took full advantage of the hesitation in the Ipswich Town defence, and Ilanga has bagged his second of the game, and Nottingham Forest have got 3 goals. They're on their way to 3 points, and they remain in serious contention for the Champions League places.
That's a massive goal for Nottingham Forest just before half-time. Anthony Ilanga, 2 goals now. It's a brilliant finish again by him, but Ipswich were the masters of their own downfall. It's a simple long ball straight to the central defenders. Neither one of them go and challenge to win it. Everybody stands off. Anthony Ilanga goes, OK, thank you very much, I'll have that. Nobody wants it. Chris Wood occupies Luke Wolfenden. No other central defender, nobody in a blue shirt goes near him. Just watching it again, he's got so much freedom, Anthony Ilanga. Goalkeeper comes rushing out, tucks it between his legs. 3-0 Forest.
His 5th goal of the season. Ipswich Town 0, Nottingham Forest 3. A try in the rugby, James Burridge.
It's actually just been disallowed by referee Luke Pearce, Ian, but Italy have been put down to 14 men for the rest of the match, as Vincent's been shown a red card after a head-to-head collision with Hugo Keane, and Ireland still lead 17-10, searching for that bonus point try.
Commentary on Sports Extra. The Forest supporters are taunting the Ipswich fans by saying that's why you're going down. But Kieran McKenna must be thinking they've got to defend better.
Well, it was just a close-up of him on the monitor there, and I just hope there wasn't too many lip readers inside the stadium, because you could see what he said. I mean, the defending for the first Ilanga goal, with Greaves just dropping off, allowing him to run into the box, and then that time from Wolfenden, he goes up to challenge Chris Wood. There's a nothing challenge. The rest of the back 3 drop off. Anthony Ilanga just goes, OK, if nobody else is going to have it, I'll have it, thank you very much, and he just cruises through.
And Forest are cruising here, leading 3-0. Another goal at Blackburn, Betty Glover.
There hasn't been. It was ruled offside. It was Tyree Stolen. He got the ball into the back of the net, but it's still Blackburn 1, Cardiff 1. It was ruled off for offside.
Thanks, Betty. Ipswich Town, in this difficult season, have got a throw on this near side, the right. But it's going to feel like a double whammy because of what you've already talked about, Paul, with that scoreline at St Mary's. Southampton 0, Wolves 1. Liverpool well clear at the top of the table, 15 points clear of Arsenal. Nottingham Forest will be going to 54 points, just a point behind the Gunners then. as they look to try and consolidate their place in those positions for the Champions League. And with the relegation issue the way it's looking as well, you know, it'll be the Champions League positions that focuses a lot of attention between now and the end of the season.
This could be a really damaging result for Ipswich today, it really could, especially, as you say, if Wolves pick up the points. The games that they've got to come, they've got two massive games coming up, at Bournemouth and at home to Wolves, Ipswich Town, and you would think if they're still in the bottom three after those games, then they've got Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, they've got a big challenge on their hands to stay in the Premier League, and you can hear the home fans now booing. They're in comfortable possession inside their own half. Forest are sat in a defensive shape, and Ipswich just aren't moving the ball. They look shell-shocked, completely shell-shocked. Nobody's moving, there's no movement off the ball.
No, distinct lack of creativity, and you could hear the frustration then from the Ipswich Town supporters as well, because Wolfenden was just looking, and they had no options at the back as Greaves to Enciso, but Forest are working hard to win it back, and Enciso is forced to go back to Wolfenden as Kieran McKenna watches on down below. Hutchinson picks it up, infield to Phillips, leaves it to Hutchinson, and now this is Kayusta coming forward for Ipswich, shuffles the ball out towards Davis. Kayusta goes on the overlap, Davis on the inside, and Enciso looks to try and turn. Phillips is going to shoot. Phillips with the shot, rising right-footed, just over the crossbar. But at least they had a go then.
Yeah, it's a decent strike by Calvin Phillips as well. He's hit that really well. Flown just over Matt Sell's goal. You know from the goalkeeper's response, goalkeeper's gone full length and he's chased after it, so it wasn't that far away. It was a decent strike from Calvin Phillips.
We've got 2 minutes of added on time here at Portman Road. Ipswich Town 0, Nottingham Forest 3, Everton West Ham remains 0-0, Manchester City 2-1 up against Brighton, Southampton 0, Wolves 1, Bournemouth Brentford will get underway at 5:30. There'll be commentary to start with on Sports Extra, and then when Wales England in the rugby is finished, we'll hear the conclusion of that game on the South Coast here on BBC Radio 5 Live, as Murillo on the half volley hits it long, down-footed, picked up now by Enciso. Enciso will chip the ball out towards Davis, takes it on the chest, and he comes into the Nottingham Forest half. He's got Delap alongside him, Enciso to the edge of the area. Kayusta tried to make that run into the penalty box. There was a handball there by Kayusta, and it will be a free kick to Forest on the edge of the area.
He'll be desperate to get his team in at half-time. Kieran McKenna, you can see him now just going back to speak with his technical staff and his coaches. His team talk will have certainly taken on a different view in the last 10 minutes. They've been outplayed, they've been outclassed in the first half, Ipswich, and defensively they've been extremely poor and made some very basic errors.
Yes, they have, and they've been punished for it too. Northampton 1, Birmingham City 1, so the leaders of League One have got an equaliser. We'll get news of that after we've heard from James Burridge.
And a bonus point try for Ireland, and a hat-trick for Dan Sheehan after a crossfield kick down the right-hand side, tapped back by Mac Hansen, and a wonderful take by Sheehan, who dots the ball down. Jack Crowley is really struggling from the kicking tee, but Ireland have that bonus point. 22 points to 10 they lead.
They're doing what they have to do. It's a must-win game for England, and then it will culminate with France, whose destiny is in their own hands for that game against Scotland. You'll hear that on BBC Radio 5 Live at 8 o'clock tonight. Phillips waits to take a free kick for Ipswich Town inside the Forest half, right-footed, quite a high line from Forest. Wood back there helping out. Let's get news of that Birmingham equaliser, Ben Mundy.
Yeah, against the run of play just on the stroke of half-time. Cross from the right-hand side. Keshi Anderson back in the starting lineup this afternoon, stooping to head in against his former team. The half-time whistle's just gone. Northampton 1, Birmingham 1.
And the half-time whistle has just gone here at Portman Road, where Nottingham Forest are in a really, really good position. Ipswich Town 0, Nottingham Forest 3.
Thank you, Ian. Paul, second half on the way. Accrington Stanley have just taken the lead on the stroke of half-time in League 2. Ben Ward with that goal. They lead Gillingham by a goal to 0. They're on course for their fourth win in their last 6. Half-time at St Mary's, John Southall.
Whereas Southampton 0, Wolves 1, a very familiar tale. Southampton started the game well, then conceded a very soft goal. A Bellegarde cross from the right-hand side. Jorgen Strand Larsen, totally unmarked, headed in. Should Ramsdale have done better? Probably, but had no help from his defence at all. Wolves then took control of the game, and as it stands, they're 9 points above relegation. Haven't been great in the first half, Wolves. Some boos at half-time from the home fans. I'm surprised they still bother booing. Southampton 0, Wolves 1.
Despite being down to 10, Morecambe have just doubled their lead at home to Barrow. Morecambe 2, Barrow 0 to Goodison. Lee Blakeman.
Everton 0, West Ham 0. Far from a classic, this one. Everton were awarded a penalty, though, for what looked like a foul on Beto. Referee sent to the screen, had a long look, changed his mind, despite there appearing to be contact from both Mavropanos and Kilman. It wasn't given. Not much in the game before that. Pickford made a good save to deny Bowen, and another one to prevent a Branthwaite own goal. Goalless at half-time, though.
And to the Etihad, Chris Coles.
Manchester City 2, Brighton 1. It's been a really good game. 2 of the 3 goals crackers from distance. The other, a Haaland penalty, clinically taken, awarded for Webster's reckless slide on Marmoush. That for 1-0 City. Brighton level through Estupiñán's free kick from 25 yards in off the post. But that matched by a rocket from Marmoush to give City the lead. Edge of the area, hit it so cleanly into the corner. They still look vulnerable at the back, do City. João Pedro had a good chance for 2-2 after a defensive mix-up. There are more goals in this. Manchester City 2, Brighton 1.
In the early games in the Championship, injury time penalty gave Millwall a 1-0 win over Stoke. Leeds held at QPR, and in fact they had to come from 2 down there. Did Daniel Farke's men finish QPR 2, Leeds 2. Opportunity for Burnley to go into second this afternoon because Sheffield United plays Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow, and at the moment they're doing just that. Molly Stevens.
They are indeed. Swansea 0, Burnley 2. The visitors have been in cruise control for the majority of this first half, Mark. It started perfectly when captain Josh Brownhill slotted the first goal 4 minutes in. Jayden Anthony doubled their lead, lashing home from close range. Protests from Swansea for a penalty before half-time. Handball looked clear as day from where I was sitting. CJ Egan-Riley with a fleeing arm. Referee said no. Half-time, and as you say, Burnley second in the table as things stand.
Italy pushing Ireland all the way in Rome, James Burridge.
This is an absolutely ridiculous second half, Mark. Ireland have got the bonus point, but Jack Crowley hasn't been kicking the conversion, so it's given Italy a half chance, and they've just scored their second try. It was an absolutely brilliant score. Capuazzu's pace down the right wing, puts up the kick. Varney was there to dot the ball down, and Tommaso Allen is kicking his conversion. So despite the fact that Italy have been down to 14 players, they've had 2 players sent off, one for a yellow card, one for an extended 20-minute red card. That's still got 2 minutes left. It's Italy 17, Ireland 22, 15 minutes to go, even though Ireland have got a bonus point, and the worried face of Simon Easterby looking down at the bench now.
Sports Extra if you want to listen to the conclusion of that. Back to the Championship, to the bottom 3 meeting at Home Park. Hamish Marshall.
Well, at half-time it's Plymouth 1, Derby 2. Derby were on course for a comfortable 3rd win in a week, but Argyle found life just before the break thanks to a glorious free kick from Mustafa Bundu. Derby's goals came after Plymouth failed to deal with long throws. Marcus Harness and Harrison Armstrong scoring. This one isn't over yet though.
Coventry leads Sunderland at the break. Tom Gale.
Coventry 2, Sunderland 0. Haji Wright on course for a perfect hat-trick after a left-footed pile driver from range, followed up by a right-booted penalty which the American won himself. Mayanda has been bright for Sunderland, several mazy dribbles, best of which saw a 1-2 with Mundell end up with a tame shot on target. At half-time, Coventry 2, Sunderland 0.
It would take them to 5th. Bristol City would drop to 7th. Sandwiched between them, West Brom, Pat Murphy.
0-0 against Hull. The mixture as before for West Brom. All the pressure, all the half chances. They can't stick it away. Armstrong, who was bought in January for that very same purpose, he scooped over the bar from just 6 yards out, and then he mistimed the fine cross from Price. Just a few yards short. Hull defending more and more as the half wore on. It's West Brom 0, Hull 0.
Goalless there, goalless at Kenilworth Road. Charlotte.
Luton 0, Middlesbrough 0, even at the break, but this half has been all relegation threatened. Luton, Tello Asgard looking lively after scoring his first goal for the club on Tuesday, blazed a glorious opportunity over the crossbar before being denied by a fantastic reactive goal line save by Mark Travers. Elijah Adebayo, a nuisance hunting for the opener, thwarted by Travers, as was Colton Morris. His strike from a tight angle on the edge of the 6-yard box tipped over. We're still waiting for the visitors to show up. Luton 0, Middlesbrough 0.
Also goalless in the Championship, Oxford against Watford and Preston against Portsmouth. All square as well at Ewood Park, but at least you've had goals, Betty Glover.
I have indeed, Mark. This isn't a bad game at all. Cardiff City, who need to start winning to get some distance between them and the drop zone, had a dream start opener 4 minutes in through a Selleck header. Blackburn, who also need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive, got the equaliser not long after a Harshy. Since then, it was pretty even. Blackburn probably the better side. Dolan got a goal ruled out for offside before Tronstad had a brilliant strike saved by Horvath. Good one this. Blackburn won, Cardiff won.
Into League One at lunchtime, Stockport won 1-0 at Bolton and Peterborough won 1-0 at Cambridge. At 3 o'clock, in the 3 o'clock games, we were second against third. Wickham versus Wrexham. Sahel Sahi.
Wickham 0, Wrexham 0. Always interesting, Mark, with Wrexham poised in possession, but Wickham with the genuine threat. The Wrexham goalkeeper Arthur Okonkwo twice denying Wickham from taking the lead. Phil Parkinson, he'll want more from his Wrexham team as an attacking threat in the second period. Half-time, Wickham 0, Wrexham 0.
Elsewhere in League One this afternoon, Leyton Orient are a goal up at Blackpool. Charlie Kellman got that 17 for the season for him. Good first half for Nathan Jones, and Charlton on course to go 6 unbeaten. They lead Wigan by 2-0. Matt Godden has got both of those. That's 15 for the season for him. Huddersfield sacked their manager Michael Duff on Sunday. Today, they are 4-0 up at half-time at home to Crawley. Lincoln lead Bristol Rovers by 1-0. Jovan Makama with that goal, 9 for the season for him. Mansfield 1, Barnsley 0. Leaders Birmingham are being held at Northampton. It's 1-1 there. Goalless between Reading and Stevenage. Rotherham are a goal up on Exeter, and it's goalless between Shrewsbury and Burton. Earlier in League 2, the lunchtime games finished all square. Crewe 1, Doncaster 1, and Swindon 3, Cheltenham 3. Leaders Walsall played the other night and they drew 2-2 with Bromley. Bradford could go level on points with them this afternoon. They're at home to Tranmere. Naz Premji.
Bradford City 0, Tranmere Rovers 0, Mark. Bradford very much on top in the first half and been much livelier than the visitors. Brandon Kaler with a couple of shots just wide from distance. Richie Smallwood as well flashed a shot wide. The best chance though, Brad Halliday driving into the box from the right hand side. He cuts the ball back. George Lapsley sliding in. He's fired over from 5 yards out with a goal gaping, and right on half time Jamie Walker clean through. His shot was tame and straight at Luke McGee. Tranmere have been poor. Bradford City 0, Tranmere Rovers 0.
Elsewhere in League 2, John Coleman returning to Accrington Stanley this afternoon with his Gillingham side, and Gillingham are behind by 1-0 at the break. Carlisle 0, AFC Wimbledon 1. Goalless between Colchester and Fleetwood, and Grimsby and Salford. Morecambe are next to bottom. They're down to 10 men, and yet despite that, they lead Barrow by 2-0 at the break. Newport also 2-0 up at the break at home to Harrogate. It's Notts County 0, Chesterfield 0, and Port Vale lead MK Dons by 1-0 thanks to Lauren Tolage's 9th of the season. In the National League, earlier Oldham 1, Rochdale 1, all the others are half-times. Altrincham 0, Aldershot 0, Braintree 0, Boston 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Tamworth 1, and Dagenham and Redbridge down to 10 in that game. Ebbsfleet 0, AFC Fylde 0, Forest Green Rovers 2, Southend 1, Gateshead 0, Maidenhead 1, Sutton 0, FC Halifax 2, Wealdstone 0, Eastleigh 3. Hang on, computer's just frozen. There we go. Woking 0, Leaders Barnet 1, and Yeovil 0, York 0. In the Scottish Premiership this afternoon, Hearts 1, Ross County 0, Kilmarnock 0, Hibs 1, Motherwell 1, St Mirren 2, and St Johnstone 0, Aberdeen 0. In the Scottish Championship, Edrionians 2, Livingston 1, Hamilton 0, Morton 0, Partick 2, Ayr 0. Leaders Falkirk are a goal up at Queen's Park. The League One leaders in Scotland lead at the break as well. Arbroath by 1-0 at home to Dumbarton. Inverness 0, Annan 1, Montrose 0, Cove Rangers 0, Queen of the South 2, Alloa 1, and Stenhousemuir 0, Kelty Hearts 0. In League 2 this afternoon, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Stirling 1, East Fife 0, Stranraer 0, Elgin 2, Clyde 0, Forfar 0, Spartans 0, and Peterhead 0, Edinburgh City 0. They are into the last 10 minutes in Rome. Italy 17, Ireland 22. It's on Sports Extra if you want to listen to it. And one other line to give you, Lando Norris, if you hadn't heard, on pole for the Grand Prix in Australia tomorrow, the opening race of the season that you will be able to listen to here on 5 Live. A minute to 4 o'clock, Carl Hartley has the news.
The voice of the UK. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Thanks, Mark. The Prime Minister says that military leaders will meet on Thursday to discuss plans for a peacekeeping force in Ukraine. Sir Keir Starmer says proposals are moving into an operational phase as he urges Russia to agree to a ceasefire. Reports from Gaza say an Israeli airstrike has hit a vehicle being used by a UK-based charity. The Al Khair Foundation told the BBC at least 8 people have been killed. The captain of a container ship has appeared in court, charged with gross negligence manslaughter following a collision with an oil tanker off the coast of Hull. 59-year-old Vladimir Mortin has been remanded in custody. One crew member is missing, presumed dead. And Cheshire Police have put a dispersal order in place in the village of Alderley Edge to discourage car owners with expensive cars from gathering there. The area has seen a number of so-called supercar meets in recent years, attracting hundreds of people, which the police say is illegal.
The first major silverware of the season is up for grabs.
It's going to be a Liverpool-Newcastle Carabao Cup final.
Holders Liverpool are chasing a record 11th League Cup title.
And now we have to face Newcastle, which was a very difficult opponent for us.
Newcastle United are heading back to Wembley.
Naturally, I think now for the big games, I think a lot of the players have been there before.
The EFL Cup final. Live from Wembley. Sunday from 4:30. Ask your smart speaker
to play BBC Radio 5 Live.
This is 5 Live Sports
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Approaching a tense last 5 minutes in Rome, James Burridge.
James Lowe is livid. He felt that he had set up a try for Hugo Keenan. It's been not being given by referee Luke Pearce. It's 22-17 to Ireland, 6 minutes to go.
And maybe what's happening in Rome just shows how unpredictable the final day can be, Chris Jones.
For sure, and what is happening in Rome will have a bearing maybe on what England need to do, because if Ireland don't rack up the points, they go up to 19. England could just get any kind of win to go past Ireland. We'll wait to see how it finishes with James and the game there. So England will know exactly what they need to do. As fans filter into the Principality Stadium, roof closed, players going through their light warm-ups. I've just seen Steve Borthwick and Matt Sherratt, his opposite number, having a friendly chat. But regardless of what England need to do, as Martin Johnson warned us earlier, chappers, they just need to get the job done against the fired-up Welsh rugby nation that feel that this might be the day that miserable run of 16 straight defeats comes to an end.
And England have to be prepared for an onslaught in the first 15. That was the other thing he was saying, wasn't he?
For sure, and what we saw against Ireland is that when the players believe, the crowd starts to believe. This place over the last 18 months, but really over the last 3 or 4 years of Six Nations, going back to 2022, Wales haven't won a Six Nations game here in 3 years. There's been a distinct lack of belief around the Principality Stadium, but if Wales can play fast and hard and accurate in the first 15 and the crowd can get on top of England, it could be very interesting. But England, they might just need any kind of win, given Ireland haven't racked up the points in Rome, and then they'll have a different way of going about it perhaps. So all to play for kick-off, well under an hour away now.
Have you had a text from your new best friend to wish you luck for this afternoon?
My new best friend to wish me luck for this afternoon?
Yeah. Isn't you and Ross Kemp tight as anything, aren't you?
Ah, yes. Hey. What a man, yeah. I bored him with that. I used to be an absolute EastEnders diehard back in the day. So it was awesome working with Ross. And the first 4 episodes of the new Bloodgate doc, Sports Strangest Crimes, out now on BBC Sounds. Really good listen, I hope.
That's a great booking, that, isn't it?
Top class, top class, yeah. Because he really is into his rugby.
Oh, yeah.
So he used to play club rugby all through his EastEnders days. When he was Grant in EastEnders, he would train Tuesday, Thursday, play Saturday, and then play Grant Mitchell through the week. What a life.
Did you kind of pretend you were Phil Mitchell during the recording of the pod?
Couldn't quite go that far.
Yeah. Chris and the team ready to go at the end of our game at Portman Road. Maybe if it stays a foregone conclusion, we may get them on a little bit earlier. By the way, the Women's League Cup final today, we heard the trail for the Men's League Cup final. The Women's League Cup final went the way of Chelsea. They beat Manchester City by 2-1. Back to Portman Road, Ian.
Presenter and editor now.
Just trying to give you an early finish.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Mark. We're back underway here at Portman Road, where Ipswich were sent out very, very early by Kieran McKenna, the boss, and he's also made a change. Jacob Greaves has been hooked, and Cameron Burgess has come on to replace him as Ipswich are 3-0 down, and they win a corner within the opening 34 seconds of the second period as they play with their royal blue shirts and white shorts from right to left. Palmer in goal, O'Shea, Burgess, Wolfenden and Davis, Cayusta, Phillips, Hutchinson, Philogene, Delap and Enciso. Nottingham Forest are unchanged, they're all in red, and I'll run through their team in a moment after we've witnessed this corner kick that comes in now from that far side, the right, an in-swinger clawed away by Matt Sells, and this is going to be Hutchinson, who shoots from distance, and then Sells, dropping to his left, makes the save. Sells in goal, Aina, Murillo, Milinkovic, Williams, Anderson, Dominguez, Gibbs-White, Ilanga, Hudson-Odoi and Wood. Paul Robinson.
Yeah, it's been a lively start in the second half by Ipswich. Jacob Greaves going off at half-time, had a really poor first half, got isolated twice for two of the three Nottingham Forest goals. Defensively got found out, Cameron Burgess coming on, and I think they've shown their intention from the kick-off. Loaded the opposition's half and went very long, and they're going very direct.
Well, they've only scored 10 goals so far this season here at Portman Road. Only Southampton have actually scored fewer. Although there has been a goal at St Mary's now. John Southall.
And it's a second for Wolves, and it's a second for Strand Larsen. Southampton 0, Wolves 2. Again, nobody near him inside the penalty area, and picked his spot into the bottom left-hand corner. And just to let you know also, Ian, the Southampton made a change at half-time. Onuachu came on to play up front, which they needed, and he took off Mateus Fernandes, even Juric, a chance of, you don't know what you're doing. Southampton 0, Wolves 2.
Well, for Southampton, who are 14 points adrift of Wolves before today, they're on the way now to a fifth straight defeat in the Premier League.
Well, you look at the results today and you look at the bottom three and you look where Wolves are now, with a huge gap over Ipswich. If the result here stays the same and the one down on the south coast stays the same, you'd almost think that it's too big, like you said at half-time. Yeah. The three that came up are very much looking like the three to go down.
Very much so. Lincoln City 2, Bristol Rovers 0 is the latest score at Sincil Bank in League One. Hamish Marshall in that key game down at the bottom of the Championship at Home Park. Hamish.
And I've seen an equaliser almost straight from the restart of the second half for Plymouth Argyle. Ryan Hardy inside the penalty area, crossed it over into the far post. Callum Wright bundled it over the line. Plymouth 2, Derby 2.
It remains 0-0 at Goodison Park. Manchester City leading Brighton and Hove Albion by 2-1. Southampton 0, Wolves 2. Let's get an update with the rugby. James Burridge.
Unbelievably tense last 90 seconds here. Ireland 22, Italy 17. Ireland have the bonus point, but Italy are going for the win.
Commentary on Sports Extra. Ipswich Town, near side the left, have been awarded a free kick just in from the touchline as they attack the Sir Bobby Robson stand. Nottingham Forest have got every red shirt inside their own penalty area, with the exception of Hudson-Odoi, who stands just to the edge of the left-hand side of the penalty box. In it comes now from Enciso. Little flick on, then cleared by the Forest defence. Philogene outside the centre circle, passes the ball out towards Hutchinson. Gibbs-White goes towards him, and Ipswich Town pass the ball back as we will go to Manchester City. Another goal, Chris Coles.
Brighton are level for the second time in this game. Manchester City 2, Brighton 2. Scrappy from a corner. Jack Hinchelwood ran away claiming it, tapping it in on the line. Might be an own goal. What it definitely is Manchester City 2, Brighton 2.
Well, Manchester City and Brighton are in pursuit of Nottingham Forest, so from a Forest fan's perspective, that scoreline there would certainly suit Nottingham Forest, as you know, they're on course for 3 points here for Manchester City, who are 5th, and Brighton, who are 6th. Manchester City 47 points before today, Brighton 46. As the corner for Ipswich Town, deep into the penalty area, and the header from Delap, placed wide. He had a good chance to run at that, got a good connection, but the direction was all wrong.
Came into the box completely unmarkedly, and Delap got his head and face in his hands. He knew that he should have at least hit the target. Good out-swinging corner by Leif Davis. Delap pulls himself away from the pack. He gets a free header. He's a long way out, but a player of his quality and the goals that he's got this season, you do expect him to hit the target. He doesn't quite get a clean connection. It's almost half head, half shoulder, and he's disappointed. But it's been a better start from Ipswich. It's really difficult when you're down at this point in the league, and when you're in the bottom three, confidence drains out of the side very quickly. You could see when they went 2-0 down, they were shell-shocked, and it's taken a half-time talking to by the manager, he sent them out early during the half-time break. They're out doing warm-up exercises, and whatever he said to them, they've come out a completely different team. He'll be scratching his head, why can't you start a game like that? But it's the nervousness, the anxiousness of being in the bottom three, the atmosphere around the place. All of a sudden now it's a hide into nothing.
Yeah, drawn 2 and lost 7 of the previous 9 league games in 2025, and still searching for that first win. They've taken 2 points then out of 27 since that victory here against Chelsea on the 30th of December. That seems a long time ago. Lincoln City 3, Bristol Rovers 0, and Reading are leading Stevenage by a goal to 0. Reading looking for the playoffs. They're on a really good run, unbeaten in 9, 8th in the table this morning, as Wimbledon have got a second goal at Carlisle United. So Carlisle United bottom of League 2, 6 points adrift, and trailing there as Port Vale now lead MK Dons by 2 goals to 0, also in League 2 at Vale Park. Here is Kiyusta. Out it goes to Hutchinson. He's going to have to accelerate to keep that ball in play, and he is unable to do that. It runs out for a Forest throw midway through their own half. Forest leading 3 goals to 0. Full time in Rome in the rugby. James Burridge.
Ireland have somehow won this match 22 points to 17. They've got the bonus point as well, but they gave Italy so many chances to get back into it. Italy only have themselves to blame. 3 players sent off in different occasions, but the points now are that Ireland are top of the table. They've done what they had to do in Rome. They've won with the bonus point.
Let's see how England fare in Cardiff later on. We'll have it here on BBC Radio 5 Live. The commentary will start on Sports Extra, it's worth reiterating that. And then at 8, France against Scotland. We'll have commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live. There's no 6:06 tonight because of the live sport. Nottingham Forest are attacking, and it's Hudson-Odoi running at pace into the penalty area. Just that little shaft of sunlight now on that far side of the field as Forest playing from left to right. 7 minutes into the second half. We're live on BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service, and available on the BBC Sounds app. And then Forest go back to Sells, and then Sells clears it long downfield. It drops awkwardly, but it's a well-watched header by Dara O'Shea to his goalkeeper Palmer.
And they've certainly started the better at Ipswich Town in the second half, but Nottingham Forest, they look comfortable apart from that Liam Delap header. Ipswich haven't really offered any forward momentum. It's very quiet here inside Portman Road, isn't it? You could feel the atmosphere in the first half certainly changed, especially when that second goal went in.
I think the writing has been on the wall for some time, but it's just it feels inevitable now.
Listen, I think if they've got any chance, I think it's all about a second half performance and not getting well beaten today. I think if they got well beaten today, there's no momentum to take in. There's nothing to take from a performance. Kieran McKenna will be looking for something in this second half that he can use, that he can analyse and take into the next 2 or 3 weeks' games if they are to have any chance.
Well, they've had, of course, successive promotions all the way from League One, but it has been such a difficult season for them. As Enciso loses the ball, Anderson to Ilanga, Phillips dives in and fouls Ilanga, and that will be a free kick.
And Nottingham Forest are the most difficult team to play against in this situation. If you're chasing a game and you're 3-0 down, 2-0 down, whatever you are, you're looking to get back in the game, you're going to leave yourself open, you're going to be playing higher up the field, you're going to leave gaps, you're going to leave spaces. Turnover possession, the team you do not want to play against is Nottingham Forest.
Phillips has just booked there. I wonder if he talked himself into the book, because originally Michael Salisbury, the referee, didn't look like he was going to show a yellow. Calvin Phillips kept on talking. I just wonder if that is possible dissent that has resulted in the yellow card for the England international. Let's get the latest from Goodison Park. Lee Blakeman.
Definitely be last on match of the day tonight. Everton 0, West Ham 0. Quiet first half, quiet start to the second. Everton trying their best down their left, where they have been lively, to create something for Beto. But I've just got a smile off Charlie Adam in front of me. He knows what I'm saying is right. It's poor. It's Everton 0, West Ham 0.
Thank you, Lee. Sending my best. Manchester City 2, Brighton 2, Southampton 0, Wolves 2 is a latest score at St Mary's. So such a damaging day this will be for Ipswich Town and the other teams in the relegation zone. It could get worse. Dominguez to Wood. The goalkeeper Palmer, what's he doing there? He made the save, didn't get hold of the ball, came back to him, and in the end it was a rather hurried clearance.
He's surrounded by his defenders. You can only think that Leif Davis has had a tiny touch on it, and the goalkeeper didn't want to take the chance of picking it up in his own 6-yard box. But again, it's Ipswich Town causing themselves their own problems. Darragh O'Shea that time with a wayward header, pounced upon quickly by Hudson-Odoi. Ball comes to the middle of the 18-yard box. Chris Wood, it's a weak left foot attempt. It's a decent save by the goalkeeper, but then between him and his defenders they make a mess of clearing it.
That's Paul Robinson, who's with us here at Portman Road, as the sunshine has all but disappeared now off the playing surface. In the slither of sunshine that remains, Murillo was actually running away on that far side, the left, and in the end ran it out of play for an Ipswich Town throw. Back to Manchester City and Chris Coles.
Manchester City 2, Brighton 2. This game, the complete opposite of the game Lee is watching at Goodison Park. It's end to end and it could be anything. Minte has just missed a wonderful chance to give Brighton the lead. Ball across goal, Minte 2 yards out, completely missed it. Still City 2, Brighton 2.
Rotherham United 1, Exeter City 1 is the latest score in League One, and Barnsley have equalised at Field Mill. I mentioned in the first half that Mansfield without a win in 13 and they've conceded 1-1 there. As Ilanga played in, back heels the ball towards Hudson-Odoi, hits an Ipswich player, Ilanga picks it up then, now leaves it for Anderson, left corner of the area, Anderson running in field, Gibbs-White passes the ball out towards Hudson-Odoi, Ilanga waits, he stays onside, Ilanga delivers the cross from the left, headed away by Burgess, the substitute, and stabbed away by Phillips, but gives it straight back to the red shirts of Nottingham Forest and to Williams. Here is Gibbs-White, instead of shooting, threads it through to Ilanga, who's on a hat-trick, and then that was gathered in by Palmer. Forest still lead 3-0.
Sharp by Alex Palmer off his line, read the through ball really well.
Delap to Enciso, played behind Enciso, he had to work a little bit to help it out towards Hutchinson, running forward now on that right side, but they've doubled up on him, and Hutchinson then will work it and gets a corner kick off the legs of Anderson. So Ipswich Town trailing 3-0. They've gone 5 without a win in all competitions, which includes that FA Cup exit on penalties to Nottingham Forest recently, but now they've got a corner on that far side as they play from right to left as we look. As we approach the hour mark here, and the ball is very carefully placed down in that far side, but again Forest have got everybody back. In it comes now in swinger Murillo, and it'll go a goal kick. Last touch off a blue shirt. No real threat there to Matt Sells.
No, I think they need more from the wide players in this second half. Ipswich Town, Jaden Philogene, Amari Hutchinson, they've been quiet. They've actually switched wings this second half. Not that you would notice, because neither have really got involved. They've struggled to get involved in the game. They've been very narrow. What Nottingham Forest have done defensively, they've done very well. They've directed all the Ipswich traffic into the middle of the pitch where all the bodies are, and they've smothered Ipswich. They've not had any real opportunities. They need the width. The wide players need to get wide. The old-fashioned wingers get chalk on your boot, get some space. Listen, it's going to be a massive task for them to get back in this game, but you just want some kind of performance from them, from the manager.
Sells hasn't really been stretched,
He's not had anything to do, has he? Realistically, he's had nothing to do.
Well, they'll be dreaming of Champions League football. Well, actually, next season will be 30 years since they were last in Europe, when they reached the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup, Nottingham Forest. They lost to Bayern Munich. You know, with that new league face, they'll be rubbing shoulders with Europe's elite the way it's going.
Guaranteed 8 games in the Champions League, and do you know what? The way that they play, they'll suit the Champions League. You know, we've seen what they've done to some of the bigger teams in the Premier League, and as we said, repeating ourselves, they're a team that are happy not to have the ball in cup competitions, and at that level they'll cause a lot of teams a few surprises, I think, if they're in there next year. Those
European nights will be coming back to the City ground. Here at the back is Wolfenden to Burgess. Kayusta on this near side in front of the main stand, goes down this near touchline to Davis, short of the halfway line, diagonal ball to Delap. Gibbs-White running with him. Gibbs-White has worked so hard. Here is Philogene now coming in, edge of the area, and there to Gibbs-White. He's been everywhere, Gibbs-White.
Well, he's such an integral part of this Nottingham Forest team, and like I said in the first half, that's why this system suits him so much. With Ilanga and Hudson-Odoi either side of him, he's got Anderson and Dominguez in behind him as the safety blanket, if you like, and that allows him to roam wherever he wants. So he's effective both in the opposition half and in his own half, but his work rate is incredible.
Newport County 3, Harrogate 0. Colchester lead Fleetwood Town by a goal to 0. Colchester on a really good run of form, unbeaten in 12. They might well be looking at automatic promotion, let alone the playoffs the way they're going. It's so tight at the top of League Two. And there's been a goal at Valley Parade. Naz Premji.
Bradford City 0, Tranmere Rovers 1 against the run of play from the spot. Josh Hawkes with a penalty. The visitors lead. They've been outplayed throughout the game. Bradford City 0, Tranmere Rovers 1.
We talk about Ipswich Town and the teams in the relegation zone of the Premier League 9 points away from safety the way that the scoreline is going. With Tranmere's goal at Valley Parade, Carlisle United, bottom of League 2, will be 9 points adrift as Cayusta does well. Out it goes towards Hutchinson. Ipswich showing a little bit of spirit with the cross. Einer is heading it away. Davis will hook the ball back in. Downward header by Murillo and then cleared away by Dominguez. Won back by Phillips. Stevenage have got an equaliser at Reading. Reading 1, Stevenage 1 is the latest score in League 1. Hutchinson does the step over. Doesn't deliver the ball. Where's the end product? Get the ball in early. Instead, they're passing it around on the right-hand side. Now in comes the cross from Hutchinson, but allows Einer to head it away there for Forest, and then Wood coming back, holds on to the ball. Dominguez then towards Ilanga. He latches onto it and now with pace runs forward and carries the ball midway through the Ipswich Town half. They are so direct, they're so quick. As we'll get the team news from Bournemouth with Jonathan Pearce.
Yes, thanks very much, Ian. One change for the home side. Ilya Zabani's back from his ban. James Hill drops to the bench in that game against Tottenham. Brentford are unchanged from their defeat at home to Villa, though Vandenberg is on the bench after a knee injury, and I'd imagine on the bench at Portman Road a couple with a few headache problems this morning.
No, I think everybody was absolutely fine, JP. Thank you very much. Blackpool 1, Leyton Orient 1 is a latest score in League 1. JP will be doing the commentary on Sports Extra, and then we'll be on 5 Live after Wales against England in the Six Nations finishes. As the Red of Nottingham Forest keep the ball well over on that far side, and then Murillo forward to Hudson-Odoi, and again his first instinct is to turn now towards Gibbs-White, and the ball out towards Ilanga with the interception from Davis, and he had to get that, otherwise Ilanga's in on the right hand side of the penalty area.
He's so sharp, Anthony Ilanga, full of confidence after his 2 goals, picks his run. Morgan Gibbs-White just couldn't execute the pass that was needed.
It's going to be a Forest throw midway through their own half on that far side of the field. Talking about Colchester going well, they just bagged a second. They're now leading Fleetwood by 2 goals to 0, and Blackpool 1, Leyton Orient 2. A second of the afternoon for Charlie Kelman, I notice, in League 1 as Davis passes the ball back. That wind picks up and howls around the main stand here under the clear blue skies, but that can be deceiving with the blue skies and now that fading sunshine here in Suffolk as Cayusta comes forward. Dominguez gets a foot into the challenge and he's giving away a free kick. It'll be a free kick to Ipswich. Dominguez has stayed down. He's actually saying I was the one who was fouled to the referee as he protests as he rolls around on the lush green surface here at Portman Road. Southampton Wolves, John Southall.
Southampton 0, Wolves 2, but a bit of spirit from Southampton. Sugawara on the right hand side, good strike, tipped over by Sarr from the corner Iheanacho, his header tipped behind, and Dibling's just seen a header over the bar from 6 yards out. Southampton 0, Wolves 2.
And all that time Dominguez has been complaining, and then he's talked himself into the book because the referee's just shown him a yellow card.
I don't know what he's doing there, Dominguez. He's made the tackle, and the tackle was a bookable offence. What he's done is he's tackled from behind, he's hooked his right leg around Cayusta, and as Cajusta's fallen over and he's stood on Dominguez, I understand Dominguez has got a problem. He's got a problem on the outside of his sock, you can see it. He's been caught on the ankle, his sock's ripped, but he's protested on the floor very petulantly, and as you say, he's moaning and groaning, talked himself into the book, much to the amusement of the Ipswich fans behind the goal.
Well, at last they've got something to amuse themselves of the Ipswich fans.
He's still going, by the way.
Because there hasn't been much from the team that they've produced as they trail by 3 goals to 0. The free kick is a diagonal one, drops towards Hutchinson now over on that far side. He runs forward, delivers the cross. Dominguez is the one who gets it away. Philogene just outside the D. He goes short and square. Phillips back towards Leif Davis, forward to Enciso. It bobbles a little bit, unable to control it. Lays it back to Phillips. Ipswich Town now with Delap, left-hand side. Davis on the overlap, delivers the cross into the penalty area. Milinkovic throws Cayusta to the floor. He looks for a penalty. That would be a very, very soft one. And then there's a foul there by Hudson-Odoi. Ipswich have a free kick midway through the Forest half, as Forest still lead by 3-0. Lincoln 4, Bristol Rovers 0. Latest from Manchester City, Chris Colt.
Still 2-2 with Brighton. More good chances, one apiece. Omar Marmoush played through. Verbruggen diving low to save. And for Brighton, lovely ball to the back post, and Mitoma forcing a good save from Ortega. Manchester City 2, Brighton 2.
There is activity on the bench down below for Nottingham Forest.
You know he's coming off, don't you?
Yes.
It's going to be Dominguez. It'll be the biggest cheer I think that the Ipswich fans have given this afternoon. He really is. He's still in the referee's ear. If he's not careful, we don't know who's coming off as yet, but I presume when it's looking, it's Yates, Ryan Yates down beneath us that's getting stripped. I can only think it's Dominguez that will be a like-for-like change.
Well, we'll see very soon. And Ciso with a free kick, looking for O'Shea, making the run round the back. Kayusta hooks it goalwards. Here is Delap with his back to goal. To Davis, who hits it first time left-footed and off target. Goal at the Hawthorns, Pat Murphy.
It's gone to West Brom at last by Isaac Price. Right foot, edge of the box. Bit of a punt, really, in off the post. West Brom won't care. They lead Hull 1-0.
And Paul Robinson is quite right. It is Dominguez coming off, but before he does go off, and he now sarcastically applauds the Ipswich supporters. They're making the most of this, the Ipswich fans.
It's the only thing they've had to cheer about all afternoon, but it's been very petulant from Dominguez, and he's walking off now. Well, he's limping off, hobbling off, still turning around, chirping at the referee, and there's going to be a massive cheer here as he crosses the line.
He actually turns and applauds all four sides of Portman Road.
He got to the end and Nuno stopped him to speak to him, as though it was like, well, you're not coming off. He thought for a split second then he wasn't going to come off, and if the Nottingham Forest manager had done that, that'd have been funny.
Yeah. And also it's going to be a double change, because we're going to see Morato coming on as well, and Elanga is going off. So they're bringing on a defender, and Nuno Espirito Santo just making sure that Ipswich Town do not get an inkling of getting back into this game, as Forest lead by 3-0. West Brom 1, Hull 0 we know about. Morecambe 2, Barrow 1. Morecambe, remember, are down to 10 men, so they'll go with 3 at the back now.
Yeah, it's a shape change from Nuno. Yeah, 3 at the back. Milenkovic, Murillo and Morato coming on will make up the back 3. Aina and Williams will be the wing backs. Defensively out of possession, there will be a back 5, but when they're in possession, it will give the wing backs more freedom to push on and cause Ipswich Town problems on the counter-attack.
Eustace forward ball cut out by Aina and volleyed away downfield, and that was Wolfenden beating Wood in the air. Davis then heads it. Good commanding downward header by Murillo, and then Phillips is onto it. It gives Delap something to chase. The goalkeeper's come out of his penalty area. It's lifted goalwards, and it was possibly going to just maybe creep inside that near post, but Milinkovic was taking no chances and heads it behind as the deadlock has been broken at Goodison. Lee Blakeman.
Goal to West Ham, Everton 0, West Ham 1. Bowen did well, cutting in from the left, give it to Souček, put it into the bottom corner. Everton 0, West Ham 1.
Carlisle United have got a goal back at Brunton Park in League 2. Carlisle United 1, AFC Wimbledon 2. Ipswich trailing 3-0, and Ciso with a corner, goes very, very deep from this near side, the left, might drop to Davis. Philogene didn't do him any favours, actually ran in front of him, looked like he was going to touch it, left it for Davis, but the momentum of the attack had gone.
Got straight foot right in his way, didn't he? Philogene wasn't aware that Leif Davis was running onto that with his right foot. Opportunity for him to strike the ball on the half volley, but the decision from Matt Sells that led to that corner was a strange one. It was a long, hopeful ball over the top from Ipswich. Milenkovic was in complete control of the situation. Sells neither here nor went, and he kind of half jogged at the ball, and he'd gone so far, so he had to keep going, made a real mess of it, and conceded the corner.
We're just over a quarter of an hour away from Wales-England getting underway in the Six Nations. The commentary will start on Sports Extra. But we've got, how long have we got now? We've got just over 20 minutes remain of normal time here at Portman Road. Ipswich Town 0, Nottingham Forest 3. All the goals coming in the first half. The League Cup final is live on BBC Radio 5 Live tomorrow. Steve Crossman presenting from Wembley Stadium at midday. Arsenal, Chelsea, the commentary before that at 1:30. Fulham Spurs will be on Sports Extra, and then after the League Cup final we'll also have commentary of Leicester City against Manchester United in the Premier League, which is a 7 o'clock kickoff. Kayusta spreads the ball forward. Williams takes a tumble as he heads the ball out of play over on that far side. But Ipswich, for all their possession and they have improved in this second half, haven't really looked like scoring.
No, they have been better. The attitude, the application has been better. And I think the way that they've closed down and they've looked to play better in forward areas, but they've lacked quality. Defensively, they lacked quality in the first half, and offensively, just that final ball, that final decision, when they do get in key areas, it hasn't been there. Still, now we're approaching the 70th minute. Matt Sells has had no save of note to make.
And remember, Wolves are leading 2-0 at Southampton, so they will be 9 points clear with 9 games to play. Ipswich have got a free kick midway through the Nottingham Forest half. They're playing from right to left, and it is going to be Davis who bounces the ball 2 or 3 times in quick succession, and Ciso is standing to him as well, but Davis is the one who's going to take it. It's left-footed, the delivery, and Einer's header is going to go out to Williams, who just touches the ball away from Hutchinson and now can run forward, and he gallops away over on that far side. He's over the halfway line. Williams looked for the run of Gibbs-White, took a deflection, runs into the path of Anderson, and then Morato just touches it, and Yates and the substitutes for Nottingham Forest pass the ball out towards that far side. So now we've got Einer and Williams playing as wing backs with the 3, and Yates with a back pass all the way to Sells, puts his foot through it, right-footed, as the flags on top of that cobbled stand getting a really good buffeting from the wind.
And that's another thing you can say about Nuno Espirito de Santo, is his team, they can change during the game. He's quite adaptable. We speak a lot about Amarin at Manchester United, about Postecoglou, how wedded they are to a system, and they'll play this system with different personnel. Nuno doesn't do that. They start generally with a back 4, but he's quite happy to change to a 3, a 5 during the game. He's got a very adaptable squad of players.
Where will we go next then on BBC Radio 5 Live, I wonder? Is he? Oh, it's a goal at Coventry. Tom Gale.
Coventry 3, Sunderland 0, Ian, and it's a Haji Wright hat-trick, through ball, one-on-one, dinked it nonchalantly over an out-rushing goalkeeper. Coventry 3, Sunderland 0.
Sunderland, you would think, will be still in the playoffs, but for Coventry City, that does their chances the power of good, because the teams are starting to bulk up behind them. Looking for that either 5th or 6th spot at the top of the Championship. Remember, Burnley are leading Swansea 2-0 at the Liberty Stadium, as Yates passes the ball out to Williams. Williams enters the penalty box, sends over the cross. Did he get a touch on the way through? No, says the referee, it'll be a goal kick. And that's close. That's
all it's going to take for Nottingham Forest. They're quite happy to let Ipswich have the possession, soak it up, and then on the counter-attack, get in positions like that. Nico Williams is convinced it should be a corner kick. Easy ball out to him on the left-hand side. Again, he's allowed so much time and space to run into the Ipswich box. Hits it hard and low across Alex Palmer into his bottom left-hand corner. Seeing the replay from behind the goal now, that's a really good save by Alex Palmer, and it should be a corner.
The Old Firm is tomorrow. You'll get commentary of that on BBC Radio Scotland. That's where the BBC Sounds app is perfect. Just go onto the dial, find Radio Scotland, and you'll be able to listen to that. The latest scores in the Scottish Premiership: Hearts are leading Ross County by a 1-0. At Rugby Park, it's Kilmarnock 0, Hibs 1, Motherwell 1, St Mirren 2, and bottom of the table St Johnstone still drawing 0-0 at McDermott Park against Aberdeen. John Southall at Southampton.
Southampton 0, Wolves 2. Should be 3 though. João Gomez allowed so much time and space, 12 yards out, and he put it wide of the left hand post. Here they come forward again, and it looks like this could be the 3rd of the afternoon. Good save by Ramsdale. Flag goes up anyway, and it's so comfortable for Wolves. Southampton 0, Wolves 2.
Motherwell 2, St Mirren 2 is now a latest score, and there's been another goal at Ewood Park. Betty Glover.
Blackburn 1, Cardiff City 2. Fantastic ball in, got through all of the defenders, and Meite saw it coming and tapped it into the back of the net. Cardiff 1, Cardiff 2, Blackburn 1. Other way around.
It's still Ipswich 0, Nottingham Forest 3 here at Portman Road, and we've got 16 minutes remaining as the attendance is 29,878.
It's a great old stadium, isn't it? I think they've adapted it really well. I mean, the rise to the Premiership, as we know, was very quick and meteoric in itself, but actually the Sir Bobby Robson stand away to our left, the Sir Alf Ramsey stand to our right, it's a stadium that's steeped in history but brought up to Premier League standards.
Certainly is. We're going back to John at Southampton.
Well, Southampton have got one back. Southampton 1, Wolves 2. The finish from Onuachu came back off the post from Dibling's shot, and he tucked it in. Have we still got a game on our hands? Southampton 1, Wolves 2.
Preston North End, without a win in 6, have just taken the lead at home to Portsmouth. Preston 1, Portsmouth 0, and Huddersfield Town 5, Crawley 0. As there's a Forest player down.
Milenkovic, he went down completely off the ball. He was around Liam Delap. Liam Delap had a really good move, attacked the Forest back four. Milenkovic was tracking back, and he just slips in front of Liam Delap, and he stands on his left boot. He stands on top of his foot. He looks in a lot of pain down there, Milenkovic.
So he's getting treatment. The top of League One, Birmingham are still drawing at Northampton. Northampton 1, Birmingham City 1. It's second against third, Sahel Sahi.
Well, we've got 13 minutes to play here, Ian. It's still Wickham 0, Wrexham 0, but Wrexham have hit the foot of the post in this second half. It was a poor backward header by Caleb Taylor, the Wickham centre-half. Sam Smith sneaked in, poked out a left foot, which trickled against the foot of the post. Still goalless, 13 minutes to play.
Milinkovic is on his feet, but he might be coming off the field of play. Down at the bottom of the Championship, Derby County, remember, were 2-0 up, but Plymouth have fought back. The latest from Hamish Marshall.
It's 2-2, it's a real 6-pointer, and it's really in the balance here. Plymouth have come from 2-0 down, they almost got in front. Ballymumba with a low shot, it was parried wide, 2-2.
It's always around now on a Saturday afternoon we start to rattle through the divisions and give you all the latest scores. Crewe 1, Doncaster 1, Swindon 3, Cheltenham 3, with the 2 early results in League 2. These then are the latest scores. Accrington Stanley 1, Gillingham 0. Bradford City, who had a chance to move level with Walsall, trailing at home to Tranmere Rovers at Valley Parade. Bradford City 0, Tranmere 1, Carlisle 1, AFC Wimbledon 2, Colchester 2, Fleetwood 0, Grimsby 0, Salford City 0, Morecambe down to 10 men, drawing 2-2 at home with Barrow. Newport County 3, Harrogate Town 0, Notts County 0, Chesterfield 1, and Port Vale are leading MK Dons by 2-0. Around 10 minutes to go to their underway in Cardiff. Chris Jones.
Oh, the atmosphere building, Deno. What a place to be on Wales-England Day. Almost every single fan has taken their seat. The band ready to strike up. The choir's in position. The flags are out. The players on their way, as you say. 10 minutes to go as the lights dim at the Principality.
All the build-up you can hear on 5 Sports Extra now. And then as soon as we're finished here, we've got about 13 minutes remaining. You'll get it on BBC Radio 5 Live. The 2 results in League 1, Bolton 0, Stockport County 1, Dave Challoner's side going well, Cambridge United 0, Peterborough 1. These are the latest scores. Blackpool 1, Leyton Orient 2, Charlton 2, Wigan 0, so Charlton will claim 4th spot back from Stockport. Huddersfield 5, Crawley 0, Lincoln 4, Bristol Rovers 0, Mansfield 1, Barnsley 1, Northampton 1, the leaders, Birmingham City 1, Reading 1, Stevenage 1, Reading looking to go 10 games unbeaten, Rotherham United 1, Exeter City 1, Shrewsbury 0, Burton Albion 1, and Wickham Wrexham remains 0-0. Phillips midway through the Ipswich half, just over 10 minutes remaining, still unable to make any headway against this Forest side, looking for a 13th clean sheet in the Premier League, as we will go to Pat Murphy at the Hawthorns.
Equaliser to Hull City. They didn't clear a deep cross West Brom. Hull, who were throwing lots of bodies into the penalty area. Abu Kamara, one of the substitutes, bundled it in from about 1 yard. West Brom 1, Hull 1.
Well, the 2 results in the Championship earlier, Millwall 1, Stoke City 0, Queen's Park Rangers 2, the leaders Leeds United 2, as Forest get the ball now with Yates, and Yates runs forward. He's got Gibbs White into the penalty area, Gibbs White with a cross. Wood didn't run forward, he was just waiting for the cutback, and it went through the 6-yard area and out for a goal kick. So yes, Queen's Park Rangers 2, Leeds United 2, but because Burnley are 2-0 up at Swansea, Burnley will go second ahead of the Sheffield Derby tomorrow, and they'll be 2 points behind Leeds United. These are the latest scores. Blackburn 1, Cardiff 2, Coventry 3, Sunderland 0, Luton Middlesbrough is goalless, Oxford 0, Watford 0, but Watford are now down to 10 men. Plymouth 2, Derby County 2 at the bottom. Preston are 1-0 up at home to Portsmouth. Mentioned Burnley 2-0 leading at Swansea, West Brom 1, Hull 1. You've just heard there from Pat Murphy. Paul Robinson.
Yeah, making a few substitutions underneath us now. Kieran McKenna, Jaden Philogene coming off, and Liam Delap coming off, so that's almost an admittance from Kieran McKenna that's it, the game's up. Liam Delap is going to save him for the games coming up. We're seeing an influx of substitutions as well from Nottingham Forest. Nathan Broadhead coming on in a 3rd substitution for Kieran McKenna. Iwonyi and Jota about to come on for Forest, and in turn Nuno Espirito de Santo takes his main man Chris Wood off, gives him a rest. Tony Iwonyi comes on, and Jota about to enter the field as well. 5 substitutions. very, very key to all of those substitutions. Manager saving key players for future games. This game is up, it's done.
Yeah. The only good thing from Delap's point of view, he's actually on 9 yellow cards, is that had he got a booking today, he would have missed those games that you mentioned, Bournemouth away and Wolves after the international break, as there is changes then for Nottingham Forest, as we will go to Manchester City and Chris Coles.
Manchester City have just hit the post, still 2-2 with Brighton, deep corner. Nico Gonzalez arriving late, got good contact on it, and it hit Verbruggen's left post. Still Manchester City 2, Brighton 2.
So Hurst, Clark and Broadhead are all on for Ipswich Town. Hudson-Odoi has come off, and Chris Wood has come off, and it's Jota Silva who has come on for Nottingham Forest, who are leading by 3-0. And a 1-0 for Wood.
Yeah, as you said there, saving key players for a later date. I think this game was, well, the damage was done in the first half, wasn't it? Nottingham Forest were excellent, smash and grab merchants. 6 minutes 38 seconds between all three of Nottingham Forest goals in the first half.
Tell you what, you've done well with your timekeeping there. After the international break, Nottingham Forest have the small matter. This is often referred to on the Commentators View podcast that you can listen to on the 5 Live Football Daily feed. The small matter of a FA Cup quarter-final against Brighton and Hove Albion on the 29th at the end of the month. But Ipswich coming forward with 9 minutes remaining. The rugby man of the way, getting underway on Sports Extra as Cayusta. Great goal. Well, they got a consolation, and it's first for the club. On loan from Napoli, and Cayusta has hit that right-footed, and there'll be no clean sheets for Ipswich Town. What a fine consolation that was.
That's a decent strike by Cayusta, but at first glance, Matt Sells in the Nottingham Forest goal has got to do better than that. He's 23 yards out. He's opened himself up and he's just curled it. It looked to be going harmlessly towards Matt Sells' goal. It's a decent enough strike, but just waiting to see the replay now. Worked well by Ipswich on the right-hand side. Comes into Cayusta, 15, 16 yards. Curls it by Matt Sells. He doesn't get off the floor, Matt Sells. He kind of stumbles over his step. He tries to get a step into his dive, and he dives underneath the ball. Ball's not in the corner, it goes into the middle of the goal. It's a good finish, it's a good strike. Maybe a slight deflection from another angle. Goalkeeper should probably do better therein.
Well, the Swedish midfielder who began his career at Midtjylland and Reims in France, never scored for Napoli, has just registered his first for Ipswich Town. Faint hope, but 7 minutes remaining. It probably in all seriousness will be just the consolation as the ball is passed out from the back by Palmer. This near side for Davis. That key game between Wycombe and Wrexham, the latest from Sahel.
Well, we had played 79 minutes here, Ian. It was Wycombe 0, Wrexham 0. Wycombe were about to take a corner, but the play was suspended due to a medical emergency which is ongoing at present in the Wrexham away end. So we have play suspended, the players are off the pitch. It's still Wycombe 0, Wrexham 0.
OK, thank you. Keep us up to date with that, and I hope everything is OK for the individual concerned. Wigan Athletic have got a goal back. Charlton 2, Wigan 1. Notts County have equalised at Meadow Lane. Notts County 1, Chesterfield 1 is the latest score in League 2. We've got about 6.5 minutes remaining. Ipswich 1, Nottingham Forest 3, and in around 3 minutes' time they'll be underway in Cardiff. The build-up and the start of the game on Sports Extra as the ball goes all the way back to Sells in a sky blue goalkeeping outfit, clears it downfield. Thought that Leif Davis had pushed Jota on this near side. It goes out for a Forest throw.
It was maybe a little bit harsh on Matt Sells with the goal. Having seen another replay, there was a slight deflection off a Nottingham Forest defender, but he certainly didn't get any spring in it. He dived underneath the ball. There was a slight deflection, but still would expect him to do better.
Here's Jota looking for Gibbs White. Couldn't control the ball in the penalty area, and then Palmer was quickly diving to his feet, all in yellow, away towards our right-hand side.
Just sharp, Alex Palmer. Been good a couple of times today, coming off his line. His reading of the through ball has been good. He's been sharp. He's done well since he's come in. Alex Palmer, signing from West Brom in the window. 4 appearances. This is his 5th today. Goals conceded. Still no clean sheet. I think they'll be few and far between for the rest of the season, the way that Ipswich have defended today.
Yes. I would agree with that. Everton 0, West Ham 1, Manchester City 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Southampton 0, Wolves 2 are the latest scores in the Premier League. Here is Clark wearing gloves. He didn't leave his in the car. Here is...
His mate probably told him he needed them.
Ball passed out by Phillips. Davies couldn't keep the ball in play. It'll be a Forest throw, and Ipswich are going to make another change. And coming on now is going to be Jack Taylor, and it's Calvin Phillips who goes off as midfielder for a midfielder for Ipswich Town with 5 minutes remaining.
Would take something miraculous now for Ipswich. Certainly something that they haven't showed in the previous 85 minutes of this game. But you know, we say it all the time, don't we? A goal changes games, and the atmosphere in here would change very, very quickly should they get another one.
They're looking at a return of just 2 points from a possible 30. Here is Taylor, short forward ball. Broadhead to Hutchinson. Williams comes tight. Hutchinson manages to wriggle away from him, but Williams is back goal side. And then Hutchinson again holds on to the ball, drifts into a central area, passes the ball back. Burgess back to Hutchinson, able to turn 30 yards out from goal, rolls it towards Clark near side the left. Clark now onto his right foot, doesn't beat the first man, balloons up in the air. Yates comes out of his position on the edge of the area, heads it towards Awoniyi, and then Yates slides the ball through. It's 2 against 1 in favour of Nottingham Forest. Gibbs White, Jota is in support. Here is Jota, and he scores. Ipswich Town with time running out. It looks forlorn that they will stay in the Premier League. It is the 8th time that they have conceded at least 4 goals this season. The Ipswich fans are heading for the exits in their droves, and Ipswich will be making an exit from the Premier League. Ipswich 1, Nottingham Forest 4.
And that goal sums Nottingham Forest up. That is what they are all about. That is how they play. They sit deep, they're defensively solid, they're a unit, they work hard, they win the ball back. The turnover of possession, within 3 passes, the ball's the length of the pitch and in the opposition's net. Really good centre forward play by Awoniyi initially. He holds off 2 Ipswich Town defenders, steps in, somebody plays a lovely ball high to Morgan Gibbs White. He's onside because he's in his own half, and at that point it's 2v1. It's all about when he plays the ball to Jota Silva. He holds, he plays it perfectly. Goalkeeper Alex Palmer comes rushing out. He tucks it down to his right-hand side, and there's another step nearer to the Champions League for Nottingham Forest.
Certainly is, leading by 4 goals to 1. Preston 2, Portsmouth 1, Shrewsbury 0, Burton Albion 2. Our latest scores in the Championship and League One respectively. But for Nottingham Forest, leading now 4-1 with 2.5 minutes remaining. And the amount of goals that Ipswich have conceded this season.
Very worrying for them. I mean, you can understand that one. Listen, they're 3-1 down, they're trying to get back into a game. They're going to be open, they're going to be expansive. And like I said in the first half, when you're trying to do that and you're trying to get back in a game, the worst team in the Premier League you can play against for hitting you on the counter-attack is Nottingham Forest. And that's exactly what they've just done.
Danilo is going to be coming on for Nottingham Forest as Morato will just marshal that ball safely out for a goal kick. But there's a lot now of empty royal blue seats inside Portman Road.
Listen, they've had an excellent journey, these Ipswich fans, haven't they? And every game that I've been to this season, they've supported them. And we'd go to a lot of grounds, and if a team were 3-0 down in how quick they were in the first half, at half-time we'd see an exodus then, wouldn't we? And there'd be a certain few that wouldn't come back. But this ground has stayed full until that 4th went in. You can understand that. They've had to go in the second half, but they've just not been good enough. I think that's the fact of it, and I think that's what we've seen in the Premier League this season. Their attitude, their application, and out of the 3 that have come up in the bottom 3, they look like the ones that have had a real fist of it, but actually they're going to fall short because they're just not good enough.
Danilo has just replaced Gibbs White. I'll ask you about Gibbs White, but they're underway in Cardiff. Chris Jones.
England are pressing nicely. They've just kicked to the corner. Then 2 minutes gone. Wales 0, England 0. But what an opportunity for England. 5-metre line out. Remember, any win for England takes them past Ireland to the top of the Six Nations table. Cowan-Dickey to throw into the line out. 5 metres out, England. They win it through a Toje.
So you're just underway, commentary on Sports Extra, but we've got 60 seconds remaining, and then you'll hear it here on BBC Radio 5 Live. There has been a late goal at Home Park in that key game down at the bottom of the Championship. Hamish Marshall.
And against the run of play, it's gone to Derby County. Marcus Harness with his 2nd of the afternoon, tapping in from close range, has Derby in front with less than 5 minutes to play. Plymouth 2, Derby 3.
So they were 2-0 up, and for Derby County now leading by 3 goals to 2. That would mean that they are just the point behind Cardiff, because of course Cardiff are still winning. Cardiff, who at one stage had dropped into the relegation zone. Blackburn 1, Cardiff 2 is the latest score at Ewood Park. Back to Chris Jones in the rugby.
England have scored. Maro Itoje took the line out, then he set it up, and then he was the guy who got over the line at the end. What a dream start for England. We speak about this Cardiff crowd. What a way to take them out of it. Ben Smith looking to convert. Wales 0, England 5.
We'll be with you in 4 minutes, Chris, because we've got 4 minutes of added on time as Colchester United are leading Fleetwood Town by 3 goals to 0. Hearts now lead Ross County 2-0 at Tynecastle. Notts County 1, Chesterfield 2 is the latest score in League 2. You're up to date with the goals as they go in. But 4 minutes remaining. I said before I was going to ask you about Gibbs White. Left out of the England squad. Hard to believe that none of the Nottingham Forest players actually featured in Thomas Tuchel's squad yesterday, as Williams burst forward on the left. Williams with a cross, caught by the goalkeeper Palmer. But what about Gibbs White?
Excellent. 5 goals this season, and that was his 7th assist of the season, and that just shows what an integral part of this Forest team. Waxed lyrical about him before. In that role suits him down to a T. He's got a great energy and a great attitude to work both ways.
That try incidentally was converted, so England are leading 7-0. Notts County 1, Chesterfield 2. So Chesterfield back in front as the ball is marshalled safely back towards Sells. There's been a late goal at Goodison. Lee Blakeman.
Everton have equalised. Everton 1, West Ham 1. Idris Agaye with the ball straight across the face of goal. Touched in by Jake O'Brien in stoppage time. Everton 1, West Ham 1.
Sells clears the ball away. Well, we've got about 2.5 minutes remaining. England leading 7-0 in the rugby. So with 2.5 minutes remaining before we hear that on 5 Live, how would you sum up today's game, Paul?
It's been an excellent performance by Nottingham Forest. I think defensively it was a freak deflection where they conceded. Other than that, they haven't really had any problems on their own goal. Going forward, they've done everything that we've seen from them this season. They look so dangerous on the counter-attack. They're a team that are extremely well coached. They're a really good watch because they don't try and play the way that other teams do. They've changed to a back 3, changed to a back 5. They started with a 4. They're flexible, they're attacking, they're exciting going forward, and defensively strong. All of those combinations are why they are where they are in the Premier League.
That's the voice of Paul Robinson, the former Leeds United goalkeeper. Leeds United have Burnley now only 2 points behind them. Full time at Swansea. Molly Stevens.
Yeah, in their pursuit for promotion, Burnley have done what they came here to do. A 2-0 win that puts them second to the table. Josh Brown and Jayden Anthony, the goal scorers. Swansea struggled to provide any threat today, and when they did have chances, they didn't take them. Swansea 0, Burnley 2.
Cross comes in, and Ipswich Town have got another goal back from the right-hand side, and it was George Hurst whose header passed an outstretched Sells. We have, I would say, 60, 70 seconds left, and Hurst with a header makes it Ipswich Town 2, Nottingham Forest 4.
Well, unfortunately for Ipswich Town, that's going to be another consolation because they obviously conceded that 4th goal. If it was only 3, we'd certainly have an interesting 60 seconds. It was a good ball in, and it's a really good header by George Hurst. Real true centre-forwards header, gets in between 2 Nottingham Forest defenders, powers it down hard, low into Sells' bottom right-hand corner. That's a really strong header from a decent distance out. Good goal.
Mansfield Town have got a late goal. They are now 2-1 up at home to Barnsley. That could be their first win in 14 games, as Kilmarnock in injury time have equalised at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 1, Hibs 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. We've got about 30 seconds remaining. We'll be going straight to the rugby on the final whistle, and then Paul can warm his hands, and apologies for the duff advice about leaving the gloves in the car. But it's been good to be with you again here today. Paul is here. Is Aina coming forward for Forest, 4-2 up, and looking to go within a point of second place Arsenal. Commentary of that game against Chelsea tomorrow on 5 Live at 1:30. It's finished now at the Hawthorns. Pat Murphy.
It's 1-1. West Brom thought they'd won it when Price scored 20 minutes from time, but Kamara, a substitute, bundled one in with 10 minutes to go, and Kamara nearly won it in the last minute, followed by a brilliant double save from Wildsmith. West Brom 1, Hull 1.
It's finished at Kenilworth Road in the Championship as well. Luton Town 0, Middlesbrough 0. Nottingham Forest have got a corner. This will be the last bit of action then, I would imagine, here at Portman Road. The rugby then coming up on BBC Radio 5 Live, and after the rugby's finished, then you'll hear the conclusion of Bournemouth against Brentford, and then we'll have the rugby of France-Scotland at 8 on BBC Radio 5 Live, as that shot was whistling over the top from Josser. Thank you very much to Paul Robinson, but it's finished here in the Premier League. Ipswich Town 2, Nottingham Forest 4, but we're all about